You said that you love winning. What drives you more, the love of winning or the hate of losing?
Maybe equally, maybe both. I don't like losing, and I do like winning.
Say his name and he appears.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to Winning Tonight. How's everybody doing out there this evening? Hope you're all doing and living well. And let me start off this evening, as always, by thanking those awesome people in the winner's circle who support the channel on a monthly basis. Thank you so much for being part of the solution. And a big thanks to Shelly and Wolfram, who also support us over on Rumble. We are broadcasting live tonight, of course, on Rumble, X, and YouTube. And away we go. Tonight, we will review Caroline Leavitt's first press conference as White House press secretary. And let me just tell you guys, we got a good one. We got a good one. She was completely on fire. And as the thumbnail says, she owned the room. In that press conference, a lot of information came out. We will review that together, including Trump's statement on the New Jersey drones. And you will find out tonight how our analysis weighs out against the truth that is now out there about it. So let me stop here and say hello to this awesome crowd that's out here in the audience. Let's see, in the front row, I mean. There we go. Heidi, how you doing? Thank you for getting here early and dropping all these things right here. Thank you so much. And R plus W, I don't know what that is. What are you doing? And Wolfram, like, what are you doing here? What's this? What are we doing here? Is that location? I don't know what you guys are doing. You guys got a code going on now. I'm not aware of the code. But you got secret codes. Wolfram, thank you for dropping these links. And remember, when you are here, everybody, to listen to the wolf. He knows what he's talking about. He wipes his paws. He lopes in and and the alpha mod is in the house. All right. Who's confused? Are they confusing me? My mods, my awesome mods, so they confusing me. They're having some fun. How you doing, Angry? Congratulations on getting your channel back. I'm glad you got that all worked out. It can be quite a mess sometimes, but you just gotta fight through it. Shelly's out there in the crowd somewhere, but she won't be very vocal tonight, as she is feeling a little sore. But Captain Currents here, what's up? Where are the gay frogs at? Not this channel. If you want a gay frog, I can tell you where to go, though. Ellie, what? Call me. What are you guys giving out phone numbers in the chat? You know how, like, you know what a bad idea that is? I wouldn't even have pulled that up if I looked at it closely. Mine was an oops, working on a 3D model, and that was that's what I thought. It looked like an X value to me. That's what I thought. Jenny, I got your number. Jenny. 8675309. I used to play that song quite a bit, so I know that song. It's like one of my favorite 80s songs to play. Actually, it's a great song to play. It's a lot of fun. Oh yeah. Oh man. Gen X humor. I know it well, because I am one. Let me see. Hey, Ronnie, what's up? There's Ronnie laughing her way on in, saying hello to everybody. There is Shelly talking trash of truth. She's getting some typing in there. All right. Cool guys. So much to do here. I got channel back today. I got the channel back today. Congratulations on getting your channel back. That's a big deal. Way to fight through it, man. Way to fight through it. Keep on fighting. Keep on swinging. We'll just talk for here for a minute, get some people into the crowd before we start this press conference. And in this, we're going to find some interesting things. I'm glad we're reviewing it instead of watching it live, because I got a few things to say on this as well. And of course, we're going to hit one of our favorite topics of late in this press conference as well. So that it'll be a lot of fun. But there's more than just the drones in here, more than just the drones. And we'll have some discussions about some interesting things in here. And then after that, we're going to just go run down the line and some of the top news and updates of the day. I got some really great things I've been kind of stocked up on here that I want to go over. I got some lighthearted stuff that'll make you laugh and feel good. And I got some updates and some circle, some basically some follow-ups. And we did discuss already, but I really will reiterate that that Pete Hegseth and Kristi Noem have been confirmed. They confirmed, they're voted in, they're sworn in, and they are on the job. So rest assured, things are already starting to get better as we speak. Yeah, it was epic. I figured some people have already seen it. That's fine, but you get the commentary here, and we'll get to stop and talk about specific points together. And that's the point. That's what it's all about here. And Tuesday edition, usually we do something like this. I try to get the editions to during the week to follow some kind of format. Then we do by the end of the week, we're just doing top news and updates. And that usually works out pretty good. But we are going to be busy this week. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, you get winning in the morning, which is always fun. We will be going over the first hearing for RFK Jr., which is going to be super exciting. Cannot wait. And then we will go, and unless something's changed. Oh, bright light. Did I move that? I might have moved it. Oh, okay. Well, just stay tuned, because I'll be putting out the breaking news shows for those later tonight or tomorrow, or later tonight. Trust me on that. It won't be early in the morning. Hey, Enya Myers, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. And let's see, did I say hello to everybody else? I think I did. All right, good. And also, so we have that, and then tomorrow night, oh boy, tomorrow night's gonna be fun for Unveiling Reality as we check in on our UFO alien rabbit hole grifters, our favorite groups that are out there, to see what they've come up with next. And on the tail end of today's press conference, we'll have a lot to talk about for sure. But we do have some updates on that. And like I said, there's so much coming out so fast from two different groups now, who I know one group says they're with the other, but there's no evidence that that's the case. Greer saying, oh yeah, Barber's my friend. He's my brother. I went in his helicopter. Yeah, there's no evidence of that. There's interesting things, it's just tie-ins. But until I see it, until they actually are holding hands and side by side, right now, it looks like it's just another Greer co-opt of a narrative. And with the drone stuff coming out today, I want to see how they're going to try to swing this. So we're probably going to be doing an additional show on that on Sunday. And we'll kind of work that. We'll have to. There's so much to go through. Like he's a News Nation, Ross Cult Art. Interesting. He's put out like 3 things since the last time we checked in on that. So, and that's a bunch of other people that are coming out on the Barber team, if you will. And then we'll see Steven sitting alone in his podcast, trying to make himself part of that somehow. So we got a lot to go through on that front. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. and it's teaching us the art of the grift and how these guys, these new age grifters kind of work. And we'll also see if anything they say comes true. Like I always say, oh, maybe I'm just misreading this. Maybe that all the things they're saying that doesn't make any sense and doesn't connect actually do. But I doubt very highly that we're going to be steering UFOs with our minds anytime soon, or finding out there's some kind of like 1,000-year tech, 1,000 years ahead of us in alien technology group, rogue group, underground group. And that's basically what you get from one side or the other with that. But save that for Wednesday night. And if for some reason between now and then I feel like we need to move that show, then we'll do it. But I think right now it's fine where it is. Thursday, again, back at it. We're gonna have a full day, so I don't know if winning tonight will happen Thursday, or if we're gonna do a Tulsi Gabbard rewatch. I know some people are gonna watch that live. We're gonna watch Cash Patel live. That's gonna be our thing, and then we'll do the rewatch on Tulsi, either that night or the next night. But we'll feel it out, right? We'll feel it out. Can we take 2 press conferences in a day? And we'll see. We'll see how long they go. I need to see how they come out first, and then we can go on from that. And there is a second RFK Jr. press conference that I'm interested in. So we may do that rewatch during the day on Friday. And then I don't know. It's a lot. And then Friday night, do the Winning Tonight show with updates and top news and just kind of get back with that, right? We'll see. Oh, Sunday night is the super. No, wait, we're off this week. That's right. We're off this week. So everything's a full go for Sunday. The Super Bowl is not for 2 weeks. It's in 2 weeks. And yes, my team's in it. Let's go. Revenge is sweet. Revenge is sweet. Setting the record straight. No matter what team you like, we're all one big family here. But well, when your team's in the Super Bowl, you got to be happy about it, right? You got to be happy about it if you're into the NFL. Okay, guys, let's get going here. We got a great crowd in the house tonight, and we're going to keep pumping up the volume here. We got, okay, everybody's here. Nothing to catch up. Look at a great, friendly crowd. Everybody there is just connecting and saying hello and having a good time. So if you're watching for the first time, please consider subscribing. And also, if you're out there, make sure you hit thumbs up, especially on the Rumble side. How you doing out there tonight, Rumble? You doing good? Let me just look over here and see how you guys are doing. You guys are starting to warm up over there. All right, cool. And especially on the Rumble side, we're counting on you, Rumblers. We're counting on you guys to hit the base button. That's the one with the thumbs up on it. That's the base button, right? If you're based, hit thumbs up. If you're not based, hit thumbs down. There you go. That's how it works, right? But I know my crowd's based, so we're going to get lots of thumbs ups. But that gets us out there in the algorithm on Rumble. And X, how you doing out there for you guys watching on X? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. If you're new to my channel or you remember my old channel at Winning Reality, you know the story. That one got taken down unfairly, and there's no human beings at X to talk to because everything's run by AI, evidently. So I can't get it unsuspended right now. So maybe one day I'll start building up the new channel like I did the old channel. It's just takes a lot of work and effort, and I'm not particularly motivated to do it because of how the last one turned out. Amazing Disgrace, how you doing? Watching for the second time. Good to see you too as well. Yeah, we'll stop and we'll talk about things. So that's going to be the difference here today. So we'll have a crowd in here to discuss it with, and we'll be being able to stop it and have some talk about it. T-Rex is here. Okay, we can start. Good. All right. Thank God. We're waiting for you, T-Rex. Hope things have gone better for you today than they did yesterday. My friend T-Rex. All right. So let me go ahead and cue this up because I'm excited and ready to go on this press conference. It's so much fun, so much cool stuff to say, to go through here. And like I said, we're definitely proud of this one right here. We got to be proud of this right here. Let me see. How do I get you to be more like the rest of them? I love it. It's like I try to pull it up. And it's like I try to pull up the tab here on StreamYard. It's like the one that I want you to show me so I can display it. There it is. Okay. It's all often buried or not even there. I'm like, I got too many tabs open as it is. I'm a tab, I'm a tab and you know what when it comes to the browsers. Do you guys have like a million tabs open too? Okay. Let me stop that right there. Get the volume right. All right. And we'll try it at winning speed. I don't know that that's going to be the way to do it, but we'll start it there. We'll start it there because we always like to do it a little bit, winning speed. We're smart people. We can take this information in fast, right? So we'll try it, but if we'll get to see Jenny 8675309. Okay, I wonder who that is. Don't give it away. Don't give it away now. But thank you for being here, Jenny. I got your number, by the way. All right. So Memento Mori, what's up, my friend? How you doing? And there is the Blue Lantern, guys. Well, you know, it's her first day, but I thought she had a great first day. And McEnany was, I think, would you like to maybe get in a hot tub with both of them? That's probably the test, right?
Good afternoon, everybody. How are we? Good to see all of you. It's an honor to be here with all of you. A lot of familiar faces in the room, a lot of new faces. And President Trump is back, and the golden age of America has most definitely begun.
I think we're good
The
there.
Senate has already confirmed 5 of President Trump's exceptional cabinet nominees: Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. It is imperative
There we go. Yep. All those confirmed right there.
that the Senate continues to confirm the remainder of the president's well-qualified nominees as quickly as possible. As you have seen during the past week, President Trump is hard at work fulfilling the promises that he made to the American people on the
Indeed.
campaign trail. Since taking the oath of office, President Trump has taken more than 300 executive actions, secured nearly $1 trillion in U.S. investments, deported illegal alien rapists, gang members, and suspected
Yeah, me
terrorists
too.
from our homeland, and restored common sense to the federal government. I want to take a moment to go through some of these
Yeah,
extraordinary
Arby.
actions.
Right on.
On day 1, President Trump declared a national emergency at our southern border to end the 4-year-long invasion of illegal aliens under the previous administration. Additionally, President Trump signed an executive order to end catch and release and finish construction of his effective border wall. By using every lever of his federal power, President Trump has sent a loud and clear message to the entire world. America will no longer tolerate illegal immigration.
I mean, and just like, and then with just the amount of activity and action that's happened, it's a reminder of how fast and how many things get done under Trump. 4 years of complete bullshit and nothing getting done and a bunch of this word salad from very bad and very inept press secretaries, but just an inept administration, intentionally inept administration. We forgot what a real administration looks like, didn't we? But look at these guys go. Look at them go.
This president expects that every nation on this planet will cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens.
That's what we expect.
As proven
That's
by
our
this
expectations.
weekend, when President Trump swiftly directed his team to issue harsh and effective sanctions and tariffs on the Colombian government, upon hearing they were denied a U.S. military aircraft full of their own citizens who were deported by this administration. Within
Don't let 'em
hours,
back in.
the Colombian
There you
government agreed to all of President Trump's demands, proving America is once again respected on the world stage. So, to foreign nationals who are thinking about trying to illegally enter the United States, think again.
Don't do
Under
it.
this president, you will be detained and you will be deported. Every day, Americans are safer because of the violent criminals that President Trump's administration is removing from our communities. On January 23rd, ICE New York arrested a Turkish national for entry without inspection who is a known or suspected terrorist. On January 23rd, ICE San
Effective.
Francisco arrested a citizen of Mexico unlawfully present in the United States who has been convicted of continuous sexual abuse of a child aged 14 years or younger. ICE St. Paul has arrested a citizen of Honduras who was convicted of fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor. ICE Buffalo arrested a citizen of Ecuador who has been convicted of rape. ICE Boston arrested a citizen of the Dominican Republic who has a criminal conviction for second-degree murder. This criminal was convicted of murder for beating his pregnant wife to death in front of her 5-year-old son. And ICE St. Paul also arrested a citizen of Mexico who was convicted of possessing pornographic material of a minor on a work computer. These are the heinous individuals that this administration is removing from American communities every single day. And to the brave state and local law enforcement officers, CBP, and ICE agents who are helping in the facilitation of this deportation operation, President Trump has your back, and he is grateful for your hard work. On the economic front, President Trump took immediate action to lower costs for families who are suffering from 4 long years of the Biden administration's destructive and inflationary policies. President Trump ordered the heads of all executive departments and agencies to help deliver emergency price relief to the American people, untangle our economy from Biden's regulatory constraints, and end the reckless war on American energy. President Trump also signed sweeping executive orders to end the weaponization of government and restore common sense to the federal bureaucracy. He directed all federal agencies to terminate illegal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to help return America to a merit-based society. President Trump also signed an executive order declaring it is now the policy of the federal government that there are only 2 sexes, male and female.
Like we needed. I mean, I'm so glad. I'm glad they did it so no one can ever screw with it again. But it's just when moments like this, I'm like, am I awake or am I asleep? Because it just seems so ridiculous sometimes but that even became a thing, right?
Sanity has been restored.
Yes, it has.
Before I take your questions, I would like to point out to all of you once again have access to the most transparent and accessible president in American history. There has never been a president who communicates with the American people and the American press corps as openly and authentically as the 45th and now 47th president of the United States.
That's right.
This past week, President Trump has held multiple news conferences, gaggled on Air Force One multiple times, and sat down for a 2-part interview on Fox News, which aired last week. As Politico summed it up best, Trump is everywhere again. And that's because President Trump has a great story to tell about the legendary American revival that is well underway. And in keeping with this revolutionary media approach that President Trump deployed during the campaign, the Trump White House will speak to all media outlets and personalities, not just the legacy media who are seated in this room. Because according to recent polling from Gallup, Americans' trust in mass media has fallen to a record low. Millions of Americans, especially young people, have turned from traditional television outlets and newspapers to consume their news from podcasts, blogs, social media, and other independent outlets. It's essential to our team that we share President Trump's message everywhere and adapt this White House to the new media landscape in 2025. To do this, I'm excited to announce the following changes will be made to this historic James S. Brady briefing room, where Mr. Brady's legacy will endure. This White House believes strongly in the First Amendment, so it's why our team will work diligently to restore the press passes of the 440 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration. We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room. We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House.
Okay, so who wants to become a winning reality correspondent for the White House? Anybody out there? Go ahead. I'll wait. Anybody want to do that? We're going to have a little bit of fun with this topic right here. So,
and you can apply now on our new website, whitehouse.gov/new media. Starting today,
All right. Go
this
ahead.
seat in the front of the room, which is usually occupied by the press secretary's staff, will be called the new media seat. My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex. So in light of these announcements, our first questions for today's briefing will go.
Okay, stop. I don't think this is going to go the way you think it's going to go. I mean, it's a great idea, and I totally dig it. Well, I need someone to go do it for me. So I need a correspondent. I can't do it myself, obviously. I got to run the show here. I got to steer the mothership. But if anybody's willing to be my correspondent, I'll sign up. Oh, you can work for Winning Reality. You can work on Winning Reality. You can be there. You can be the one asking questions. People keep asking me if I'm going to do it. No, I'm saying that if somebody here wants to join the team, right? I'll apply. I'm not scared. There you go. So Jacob Castro, right there. Go ahead and apply. Tell me you're with Winning Reality, right? Podcaster, solution architect, whatever you want to call it, and that you'd like to go do it. And dude, you're there. You're there. We'll have live updates for you from outside. We'll do the whole 9 yards. Off and rolling. We'll take this sucker to the next level, man. Let's go. But I mean, that's a giant pool of people to choose from, right? And even some of the people that you would expect to be there, I'm sorry, Temple, I'm going to send people there, right? What kind of questions are they going to ask? Like, what kind of what half grifting outlet's going to get in there, right? And start asking a bunch of dumb questions. I mean, I feel like, or a bunch of like half-baked questions. Let me put it that way, half-baked questions. I feel like this is going to, and I'm not saying that the establishment media hasn't done the same thing, but they're agenda driven, right? They're coming from a position where they're driving a narrative. And if you understand, like, can you imagine if InfoWars is going to be in there? Is this a CIA inside job? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, and what about Redacted? They're just as bad. They may be worse. They may be worse when it comes to that shit. They're going to be asking the stupidest questions, making new media. And this is the kind of thing I was worried about. You know, it's like you get some jerk offs in there who think they got everything figured out when they haven't really. They've been listening to people that are kind of like steering them into the abyss, right? And they start asking really stupid questions. How does that make our side look? How does it make it look to potentially people that are ready to leave the establishment narrative and move on? This is the thing I've been warning about for a while. And this is why I'm kind of not in favor of this, just because I don't believe the climate is right for this. While I do want better voices in there, if that throne, I hope there's maybe like 5 seats for maybe 5 legitimate new media sources to be in there. That's not right now, but I sure as hell don't want a lot of them in there, man. Like, I wouldn't want a lot of them in there. You know what I'm saying? Does anybody else feel that? That's old school. That's an old school shirt right there. You know, do you guys feel what I'm saying, man? As much as we research people, like, who would you want the quartering in there asking dumb questions? I mean, what podcaster would you want in there? Who's gonna make sense, right? Yeah. Oh my God! Don't even say that. Don't even. Oh, with my graphene, idiot. The you know, I mean, it reminds me of like the dude from. It was like way back when they're talking about TSA and stuff like that. The InfoWars reporter that went on and made national news for sounding like a complete idiot, right? And then he ended up getting fired from there for being like that. Now his family won't talk to him. He's got all kinds of problems, right? As a result. But I really, really, really hope that they do a phenomenal job vetting these people they're going to let in, these podcasts. Just because you're podcasting and you're doing new media on the internet doesn't mean that you're legit. It doesn't mean that you got your shit together. It doesn't mean that you're well researched. I mean, I like Luke Wardowski, but I've been a subscriber to his channel for a long time. I used to love watching him do protest TV. I've talked about this like back in the day, right? But his stuff that he's putting out recently is a bunch of unresearched bullshit. Just a bunch of grifty bullshit. I'm like, you're just telling me with your titles and your thumbnails and what you're saying and what you're talking about, you're not doing a damn bit of research about anything. You're not looking at anything critically at all. You're like, oh, if it comes up and it seems conspiratorial and edgy, I'm going to put it out there to make money. And that to me is poor. It's a poor representation of new media. And I like Luke, so I hope Luke gets his shit together and stops being lazy. It's really laziness, you know. It's honestly laziness, and it's a lack of patience. And maybe it's a little bit of taking advantage of your audience there, you know. But I'm not. Again, we're on the same side. I like Luke, but I just you know how I am. If people in new media aren't doing the work, they're grifting kind of in a way, I'm going to call them out on it, and I'm going to ask them to do better. That's what I've been doing since day one. I'm not saying, you know, if push comes to shove, we're probably on the same team, but it's like, if you're doing half-assed work out there and you're just trying to get clicks and views, and I know that's part of the formula here, the attention-based model of this the entire way it works right now, right? Where you're rewarded more for getting attention grabbing, clickbaity stuff. In fact, people say, the survey YouTube just did said that people prefer clickbait titles. They prefer them, you know, and so they'll click into some stuff that may confirm a longstanding bias or false belief system or something, instead of clicking into a channel that actually values the truth and is willing to take a slow walk into getting there to the actual reality-based truth of things, right? That's a hard sell in today's social media. It's a hard sell in today's new media when people think that they're going to certain channels and they're getting real deeply researched conclusions, and when you end up going in there and all they do is ask you questions that you don't have the answers to. It means they don't have the answers for you either, and they're not showing you how to get to the answers, right? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait. Is alien disclosure on the way? We'll just have to wait and see. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. You know, I mean, come on, what a pile of crap. I can't believe people put up with that shit. I can't believe anybody puts up with that. I'm here to be different than that, right? So I hope that I pray to God that they don't let idiots in the room, because it's going to make all of us look very bad. All of us that are outside the establishment narrative look very bad if you got some idiot in there asking stupid questions to this woman who's trying to do her job. I'd rather see her fending off establishment media every press conference and kicking their ass than having some of this new media come in there and completely discredit it with a bunch of crap, because most people out here in new media don't research, they don't drill down, they don't know how to do root cause analysis, and they don't question to the void, right? They're sensationalism, they're clickbaity, right? And that's unfortunate. But I think I've said enough on that. What else you got? Let's see. Luke has a ton to do with the guy. These guys all stopped doing journalism and just do podcasts now, but it's always been grateful to. Yeah, see, the Blue, me and you, we align on that. We align on that. Again, that's why I said I like Luke. I loved when he was doing protest TV. He was one of the original guys to get out there and strap on a camera and walk in the crowd and show you what was going on inside these protests. You know, and that's where Tim Pool got his start. You know, that's where a lot of these people got their start, is going down there and doing that active boots on the ground journalism, interviewing people, kind of getting in and out. I mean, you know, but they just stopped doing journalism. They stopped doing research because they got too busy with the grifts. I got a t-shirt company. I'm doing vitamins. I'm doing retreats. I'm doing, you know, you get caught into that bubble. You get the rock star syndrome, or you get overwhelmed by your own success. And I've talked about that too. That's what happened to Alex Jones. That's what happened to Tim Pool. That's what's happening to Tim Pool. Some of the issues he's running into is he's now in a bubble of his own making, right? That's why Alex, you know, I would say from that time, got himself all mixed up in the S-hook stuff. right? He didn't have a good team around him. He wasn't vetting his guests. He wasn't doing deep research. He was just jumping the shark left and right. Now, was he intentionally doing it? Looking at what he's doing these days, I'm starting to question it. I mean, I know that he knows the global stuff very well. I know that he's great at history and certain things, and he blew the whistle on Agenda 21 and a lot of things that were important at the time. No one was really listening, but had they, we may have avoided some big problems, right? Things work out the way they're supposed to work out. But every time he sees something, he says it's a CIA inside job. I mean, dude, is that all you got? Every time there's a hurricane, it's a weather weapon. It's like, come on, it's so I can predict what he's about to say. When I can do that, what's he doing? It's like, but I want everybody to do better. So I mean, I still like Alex. I still want him to, we're on the same team. I just stop, guys, just stop fucking grifting the crowd, man. People are ready to evolve in this informational age. They're ready to evolve. We have to get to a place of integrity and honesty. And we're not going to get there with a bunch of grifters grifting people constantly because they want to make money. Now, on the other hand, they're making a lot of money and I'm not. Bottom line, maybe I'm the dumbass, right? But I can't do that to you guys. I can't do it to myself. So here we are. And if the truth ever gets popular, then maybe I'll be popular too. Grifting stays popular, probably won't be. It's just the way it goes. I know I've spent a lot of time on this. I'm sorry for derailing the press conference on this topic, but it's one of those things I really wanted to talk about with you guys tonight. Is that, hey, Snipe Hunter, what's up? I see you out there. It's one of those things I wanted to talk to you about, is because, man, this proposal right here is a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary to me. I don't, as hard as I've worked on trying to explain the grifts to people, give them the information, and degrift and debunk a lot of these grifty, unresolved, unsubstantiated conspiracy theories that are out there, and point them towards real true conspiracies that aren't necessarily theories or facts, right? That's been the point. And that's like what I tried to discuss with Gary when we had our interview. I was just like, I don't know if we ever got there in the interview. And if I have future interviews, certain individuals, I'll be able to readdress this question with. But it's like, how do we form a new media that is more based on integrity and root cause analysis and walking towards the truth, rather than running from it to just jump to a conclusion and be very second Bailey abyssy in the way that we handle things. And you can see the results of that, of how people are reacting to things, right? They hear something and they jump to a conclusion, and that's the wrong way to handle this world. That's the way the grifters want you to handle it. That's the way the people that want to exploit you want you to handle it. They want you to show you, they want to tell you something and have you jump at it, right? We saw some of that the other night. We discussed it here in the chat with some questions about, all of a sudden there was some protests against just don't comply to mRNA, right? The shit hadn't even been invented yet. It was just a bunch of suits talking about it, and all of a sudden there's somebody trying to form a protest against things that don't exist. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. Like that's where you'll get the state of anxiety and paranoia if you buy into these grifts. And so I really hope that they do a good job seating these people, and they don't let dumbass from X and a bunch of other grifty people in there. I think that's going to go very badly. It's going to derail these press conferences. It's going to make new media look really shitty. And it's something that's not going to be good for all of us in the long run. So that's my rant about it. I'll give you guys a few comments here, and then I'll jump back in. If anybody said anything, it'll be fine. You'll have to cut to stroke the information back in place of winning. You'll have your work cut out to stroke the oh my God, the level of frustration, guys, if that happens, will be through the roof. Be through the roof. Let's see, what else? Anything else? Yeah. I mean, I'm glad to keep people like Jim Acosta out, right? Investigate and journalists are inseparable. You're if you're not both, you're neither. Exactly. Amazing disgrace. Exactly. Great quote there. Remember to listen to Wolf. He knows what he's talking about. So OMG, yes, sit on O'Keefe Media Group. I'd love to have them in there. There you go. That's a great call out, Ellie. on that. Let's see. So far, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Daily Wire, Alex Jones quartering, and rumors that Brett Cooper will as well. I mean, a lot of these right there are freaking popularity contests. Clickbait Benny is very, very in with the crowd. Gary, Mark Dice call these guys conservative ink, right? So they are very in with the crowd. I had no doubt that Benny Johnson will get in there. I have no doubt Tim Pool will get in there. The Daily Wire will get in there. I really don't want Alex Jones in there, man. I got to tell you, quartering's BS. Like, he's stick to entertainment, dude. I like you, and I appreciate your efforts during the election, but you couldn't have been more wrong about J13. It was horrible, and you are a grifter, and you admit you're a grifter. So I mean, you don't have any business in there. You're not a media outlet. You're more of a you're like me. You do media analysis, right? So that's what it is. It's like, are you a media analyst or are you a journalist, right? What I do is media analyst stuff, right? Journalists do, and I guess I do kind of. I'm a root cause analyst, right? But some of these guys are just, Benny pretends like he's a journalist, but he's not. He's more like a TMZ guy or something. He came from BuzzFeed. That gives you any idea of where Benny came from. Funny guy, cool dude, right? Cool dude, funny guy. But man, does he jump the shark a lot. Too much, right? We know this, but you don't. We researched this, but you didn't. And I call it out. Like, I'll end up doing the research for them and be like, this is, you didn't know this, but you just came out and said you did. You didn't. I've done it. I've degrifted these guys. Alex Jones, no. I mean, I'm sorry. I like Alex, and he's got a huge voice, but he's got the people that are, he's got the abyss under control. Let's put it that way. Brett Cooper, I don't know. I don't know who Brett Cooper is. Is that the girl that used to work for the Daily Wire? I'm sure Candace Owens will want to get in there. She's abyssy on some topics. I mean, there's just, okay, so is that the way it is now? That's what I was trying to talk to Gary about. I was like, is that the way it is now? Is it either like you're an establishment drone useful idiot who just buys into the establishment narrative and is trying to propel it and run slander campaigns and be a hypocrite, or you're a grifter on the other side that believes things they don't research, listens to other people, and goes, okay, well, that's what I believe now, instead of actually learning about it and just investigating it yourself and being the lead voice, the thought leader on the topic, right? I don't know, but like I said, this will probably be the most I talk about anything besides the drones in this press conference, just to let you guys know. Okay, he's gonna rant the whole time. No, I'm not. But okay, yeah, gotcha. No problem. I get it. But honestly, those are the names I would have expected too, Captain. Yeah, and Benny's in. I saw Benny live speaking at a Trump rally. He's in. Tucker's in. Anybody like that's in. Tim Pool's in. He's in. These guys with big audiences, they're in. The Daily Wire, they're in. Charlie Kirk, he's in. That's I'm okay with that group right there. I'm fine. Benny, go ahead. Maybe it'll make Benny a better at what he does. I could see him improving because of it. But I mean, last thing we need is Alex Jones, telling somebody to go in there and ask him about the CIA inside job. Ask him some stupid question, right? Because it's happened before. There was a time when they've done that before. They've been to press conferences and asked the most ridiculously bad questions. Glenn Beck, that's a good one. Yes, Glenn Beck. I would take Glenn Beck representative in there. They do good work on his channel. He's based. I mean, the guy's come a long ways. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that could be the Glenn Beck effect on Benny Johnson. Maybe he learns to, dial back the clickbaity, do a little bit more research, maybe get a better team. I think Benny is kind of the face, right? And I think that he needs a better support team. And as you see, like was it inauguration day that he had his kid? Congratulations, Benny. And he had to have one of his guys fill in, and it was just, damn, you can tell Benny's got the personality to carry that shit. But the guy he had fill in, that was like a snooze fest. I mean, I was doing my own thing, But he was just like, oh yeah, and he's just playing this music at the bottom of the screen. It's like, I think that he needs a better crew. I think he needs a better group of people working for him. Not that these guys are bad; they're just not. They're green, and I think that's what Gary was trying to get across when I interviewed him. A lot of these new media people are green; they don't have the background on it, and his green may be different than my green on that. But to me, you never stop researching, you never stop learning, you always keep questioning to the void. You always go back and redress and revet your belief system and your ideas and things that you believed 10 years ago aren't going to be true right now. Like you had limited information. Now add some more information to that, readdress it, approach it like you're approaching it for the first time again, and get to the truth, man. The truth, it's better to know the truth than to be right. And a lot of people aren't humble enough yet to do that. And that's what this journey is about right now. So anyways, I've talked for a good 15 minutes about this. I need to make myself move on. Or at least talk to you guys more. Let's see. Tatum. Yes. Tatum, George, let me say George Foreman, Greg Foreman from Black Conservative Perspective. Yes. Let's get those guys in there. Greg's not going to, if he hire somebody that thinks and acts like you to go in there, Greg, and represent you well. Brandon Tatum, exact same thing with him. Those two guys like myself wouldn't go on their own. Benny's not going to go there, right? He has to run the show. We got to steer the ship, but you got to send somebody in there to represent him. Now you send someone in to represent you, right? You want to send your very best representative to that meeting, right? Some idiot goes down there and starts mouthing off, no, Alex Stein. That guy's, no. Let me see. Tucker scares me these days. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Why do people? I like Tucker. Tucker's a great interviewer. He's a great interviewer, but he'll tell you himself he doesn't look or research anything. Why would I do that? I'm too busy living in $1 million lifestyle. He doesn't do that. If Tucker had any common sense about the world, he would have released Line in the Sand for free. All right, taking that $1 million he's got and put it to good use, right? He would have released it for free, right? No, he's surfing the wave, man, and he's not a expert. Tucker's not an expert. He's a good interviewer. He's likable. He's got the puzzling little face. But he's by no means perfect, and by no means an expert on anything, right? He's able to present well. He's a great presenter. And like I said, with the UFO things, he's ingrained in that belief system, right? He thinks the UFOs are demons. Because why? Exactly. He doesn't have an explanation. He just doesn't. It's just my belief. Okay, well, your beliefs make you seem like you don't understand how to research things, or you don't want to. Like your research seems to have you boxed into a narrative. I mean, your belief seems to have you boxed into a narrative. And for someone who's supposed to be one of the top journalists out there, he's not much of a journalist. He's a great interviewer. So take him for what he is. So I like Tucker. We're on the same team. I'll say it again, but I realize what he is. He's a great interviewer, and he's popular, and he gets good people on there, like J. Michael Waller. Like that's how I learned about J. Michael Waller. That's how we all learned about J. Michael Waller, really. And that's how we ended up reading his book. And that's how we got a head start on understanding what the deep state was up to in 2024 and now here in the second term. So that was a great thing, right? Great thing. That's what Tucker's good for. So yeah, take the rest of it and throw it out. If he has an opinion on something, it's probably not really well researched, and it's probably very, very biased to himself. That's the truth about Tucker. But I like him, and we're on the same team. Okay. Hod Twins. Nah, those guys are just fun. They're just fun. They're good interviewers. I wouldn't take them as a journalist whatsoever, and neither would they. Benny keeps vanilla enough to allow for big names to show up. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I guess I can agree with that. Plus, he's likable, and he's likable, and he's you can tell he's one of those people that are really great at social politics. Kisses a lot of butt, smiles a lot. But I've also heard that when it comes to other media, he's kind of snob. He's a little bit snobby, kind of snobby towards our friend Gary Franchi. He wasn't very nice to him. At least that was the story I got. I mean, not to talk shit or nothing, but I'm just saying that, you know, sometimes people, when they reach a certain point, they have to go through a phase where it gets in their head, and they got to be kind of let that run its course. But yeah, he would, if there's any snobbery and there's not just complete cohesion and brotherhood in the craft here with this side, our side, there's an issue there, right? And if there's social politicking to get yourself ahead of somebody else, you're just bringing the establishment elitist attitude in to our side. So I don't particularly dig that, but I can understand why Benny does well. He's funny, he's personable, he's got a family, he's very moral in his in his life, I guess. At least he appears that way. He's got a background in quote unquote BuzzFeed journalism, if you call that journalism. But he's got personality, and personality goes long ways, and he's likable. And then for people that are just meeting him for 3 to 5 minutes and see what he does on a podcast, probably goes off very well, But I heard he can be kind of like elitist, a little bit of an elitist. We'll see. I have no idea. He did say he would do an interview with me at some point, but I dropped. I didn't follow up on it. For one, it sounded like a good idea at the time, and now I don't know that it would be a good idea. So, not that I don't dislike Benny and I wouldn't have a conversation with him. I do. I like him, and I'd love to have a conversation with him about what standards and ethics new media should have. That's the conversation I would have with him. All right, sorry guys, I'm dragging this out with this topic. Okay, I appreciate all the comments coming in. I gotta move on, or I'm gonna lose the crowd here. Robert Gouveia, if he wants one, yeah, he's a lawyer. He does law too. His analysis is awesome, but I don't think he's a journalist channel. Well, let's pick this conversation up again. Let me get on with this, man. I'm gonna lose the crowd here if I don't. And let's just get back to this whole thing. That's my take on it. Sorry I took so long. But it's something I'm very passionate about, and it's something that's very important. So I'm praying, let's all pray together that this doesn't go bad. All right, let's go.
Go to these new media members whose outlets, despite being some of the most viewed news websites in the country, have not been given seats in this room. And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office from President Trump directly. An update on the New Jersey drones.
Oh boy. Ready for another rant? No, let's just do this right.
After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. A statement from the President of the United States.
There it is, guys. Remember the question that I posed? We all want to know the truth. We all want to hear what they have to say. We're waiting for the official statement on things. Now, how many people are going to take that and believe it? I believe it. That was the conclusion we came to, pretty much, right? Hold on one second. That was a conclusion we came to, pretty much. All right. Pretty much, right? Yeah, well, of course they were. You told us, Ellie. You told us they were ours. Is that right? I think we all, for the most part, knew it. Shocked. I'm shocked not, right? But we knew it was hysteria. Remember, we drilled down. We did the work. Drone Apocalypse 2024 playlist is out there. It's a podcast too, or whatever. I think it is. I don't know. You change the logo and it's a podcast suddenly. But you change the thumbnail to a square and it's a podcast. It's that easy. But yeah, that's it, right? That's it. Why didn't they just say that? Because they got to move us in all kinds of different directions. The establishment wants us to guess at things. They want us to run wild. They want Stephen Greer and Jake Barbers and everybody else to come out there and try to get their grifts on, right? They want to do that. And it's pretty much like this, pretty much.
So that's exactly the martial art tactic. We don't stop an enemy. We let him go. We help him to go in the direction we want them to go.
Right? And so, yeah, you know, fear, anxiety, all the new, you know, but we did the good work. Hopefully I showed you guys how we, how these situations should be done, right? We walked it in, we talked about it, we looked at different things, we didn't jump to conclusions, we made a bucket list, not a bucket list, we made a root cause analysis board, different buckets, right? We collected information, we looked at the different possibilities, we crossed them off the list as we questioned to the void, right? We came down to what it was, is that, you know, it really, what was just said here? What was just said right here? The New Jersey drones, right? So to pay attention to that, because other people will. Other people will. They didn't say military bases in Virginia. Nope. New Jersey drones. New Jersey, as Big Joey, what's his face, discussed on Joe Rogan, Big Jersey Joe, right? Said yeah, this area, northern New Jersey, is known for just going off on unidentified aerial phenomena, UFOs. It's been doing it for decades, right? And then what did that guy Bustamante say, right? The CIA guy. He said, anytime that you leave it in question, right? You leave it in question, people can run wild with their imaginations. And what happens on the tail end of that? Hi, I'm Stephen Greer. This is a disclosure. It's going to happen, right? And you got that guy coming out, right? And he's going to spin his whole narrative because he's an old country doctor that just spins yawns for entertainment, right? And you know, so then people get wrapped up in this stuff, right? Well, that's what we said. We said it was pretty much now that the FAA drones doing research. One thing I didn't cover, but I had in the bucket there was big people doing aerial mapping with drones. Like that's a big time thing right now, because you can map an entire area in a week versus months using drones. So there's that, and it could have been some of that, right? But those normally fly during the day. They don't normally fly at night. So that's why I didn't bring them up. I'm sorry if I'm shaking the camera. But anyways, yeah, there's a major naval base in Philly. But you know, Virginia is where the big incident happened, right? Then it was a distraction, but it was okay. Take a look like this. It was a distraction. Amazing disgrace. 100%. It was a distraction, but it was also sensational, right? It was the media latched onto it. The people demanded the media not latch onto it. You got report after report after report after report. And then when we talk about in Drone Apocalypse 2024, we went through this, right? We talked about the fact that if it is advantageous for politicians to listen to their constituents. And if their constituents are having an issue, to speak about that, to address it, because then they don't look like they're ignoring it, right? Or they're not paying attention to what their people want. So all the New Jersey guys came out, senators, mayors, congressmen, a bunch of people. And then they got fed a bunch of disinformation from the Pentagon. Surprise, right? Oh yeah, we're looking for this, we're looking for that. You know, what was that? What was all about? To manufacture consent for legislation. You should pass this drone bill. We don't care about our security. We don't care about our privacy. And there's Rand Paul sticking up for everybody, right? Sticking up even for people who don't like them, saying we need to slow this down because, see, there's collateral damage in terms of data collection right here, and we don't have enough handle on it. We don't even know what we're dealing with right now, right? But there's the head of the establishment right there. You know, one of the heads of the establishment, Schumer, out there going, we need to pass this. We need to get this technology and pay these corporations that sponsor me money to get their robbing technology everywhere. So part of what I said was, it looks like what this is going to be is a normalization of drones and anti-drone technology. I think when I said that, the way that I work is I go all the way to the end, right? I'm like, what's the results? So I don't think that I necessarily meant that that's why it's happening. And I got to be careful about how I do this next time, because I know that I make the mistake sometimes of, like, you know, forgetting that other people aren't in my head, and like that I approach things a certain way, right? So and that they don't get, well, I'm just talking about what this is going to lead to. But yeah. But what did we find? What did we figure out in all this? We figured out it was mass hysteria on a major level, that these drones that were flying weren't military, they weren't foreign adversaries, and we split the narrative apart. That was being, we said it was multiple narratives mixed together. So we split them apart. We put the military base invasions over here by themselves in their own little space, right? We took all the grifts out. We threw all the grifts out. We threw all the buckets out. And we're having fun with those now, right? We're watching these guys scramble to make this thing that's nothing into something, right? And then we said, okay, well, what's really going on with these eyewitness reports? These people who think they're seeing drones. Well, 99% of them weren't drones, right? And then the ones that were people flying drones to find drones because it became a thing, right? And there's a lot of trolls in that 1%, and there was a lot of people. And then there's we talked about commercial use, corporate use, or some kind of business case use, right? We kind of skipped over that, as in, well, I haven't really found I didn't really go much further with that because there was so much to cover. But it's that you have this geo mapping. There's the surveying, drone surveying. That's just huge. I did find that whole that whole industry, right? The people that were using drones, and they're making a lot of money and they're having a lot of fun mapping areas like North New Jersey, right? For people who want to buy land, sell land, develop land, whatever, right? So they're useful. Why drones fly at night and in a commercial capacity? I don't know. I could have dug further into that and said what kind of drones are, and we can still do that. But as far as what happened in New Jersey, let's remember this for next year. Right? Let's remember it. Like the Greer dude. Hey, memento. Democrats use every crisis, real or imaginary, to get more power, and so do conspiracy grifters. They do the same thing. They do it for profit and clout. Like the Greer dude. Like, where'd you put that? Like the Greer dude. Yeah, the Greer dude, man. And like I said, like when this stuff started, I was like, it's just a matter of time before it turns into that, right? It's just a matter of time for the Stephen Greer and the freaking disclosure people show up saying it's going to be disclosure. These are alien, military, corporate, it's whatever his freaking story of the month is, right? And there's going to be people trying to grift off of it. And there's going to be UFO people and there's going to be religious people who think it's the end of times. And we called all that shit out before it happened, didn't we? Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. And it's like, it's just patterns. It's just simple patterns. They happen every single time. And the grifters never let a crisis go to waste either. And yet both sides produce mind control victims very equally, didn't they? You see all the people who lined up to think disclosure's coming, and the Galactic Federation Alliance here, and we better evolve and we better stop. Now Greer's going to keep on going on and on. He wants us to stand down EMP weapons now. Right? Because he wants everybody in the world to stop shooting down my UFOs. Well, they weren't UFOs. Greer told us that those drones were the bad guys running a psyop on us to make us live in fear. That's what he told us. And now what is he going to do? And so the question I asked, hey, Levy, what's up? How you doing, man? Good to see you. The question that I asked way back then is that how, when Trump comes out and it's not what people want to hear, how many people are going to turn on him? How many people are going to say, now he's in on it? Right? Now are going to say something, right? They're going to say, well, we knew we couldn't trust them. Wait, you guys wait. They'll show up right here and they'll say it. I promise you that. Somebody will pop in here and do the same damn thing. And it's going to happen all over the place. Go to some of these UFO chats, some of these streams are doing. See what people are saying in the chat after this. Guarantee it. That's the way it works. It's the bias. Oh, it's okay. It's going to happen. And this is how mind control is real. All right. So there we have it. The big news we are finally waiting for. But you know what? Trump kept his word and he got us the answers. And why didn't they tell us? They made money on it, man. The mainstream media made money on it. They got to come out there. They got to make some New Jersey politicians look like idiots. And it absorbed the news cycle for a while. So who knows what kind of cover they were running for what. This was during the end of the year post-election, right? Leading up to the election and post-election. So maybe it was a distraction from some of that. Maybe the distraction that it became didn't didn't run cover for whatever they wanted. Maybe they just wanted to sneak in some drone technology legislation. You on the backs of that. Remember, like we said down here, somebody said the establishment never lets a crisis go to waste. So they let it become sensational because we made it sensational. Then they piggybacked on the back of that to get what they wanted. That's the way it works. Co-op the narrative. The narrative sometimes will form itself. School shooting is a narrative. It forms itself, right? And what do the establishment media do every time? They pivot to gun control. They pivot directly to gun control. Before the bodies are even buried, they're talking gun control, right? They're standing on the graves that aren't even buried yet to pivot to gun control. And that's how you get conspiracy theories and wrong takes like the stage event crisis actor stuff of J-Hook or of S-Hook, right? That's how you get that. That's what I figured out way back when it happened. That's what I figured out. And that's what the truthers out there would refuse to look at and refuse to get. They know everything. They know everything. And they took it all the way up to the Imperial Wars, and God, Alex will find more than any person on earth because of it. I mean, and it's his own fault for not doing his damn research and not looking at things critically. It's his own damn fault. Now, was it right? No. But it's his own damn fault still. He still has to own the fact that he didn't do a good job. That's how I got caught up in it. And why groups like mine were ringing that phone and sending emails trying to warn them of what's going on. You think now I'm kind of wondering if he even would have listened to us if we gotten through to him. See, back then I thought he would have. Now I'm beginning to question whether he would have or not. But we were trying and we couldn't get through on that phone line, and he didn't answer his email. He even came out and said, I couldn't. I closed that inbox a long time ago. I couldn't keep up with it. Same problem with Tim Pool. He can't keep up with his inbox either. Right. So you might try to warn Tim Pool about something that's coming to get him, and you'll never get through to him. You better send a super chat and hope that he reads it instead of reads one about Ian's hair. Right. You better hope it. I see some new people coming here. Okay. As I'm ranting about this, God, I'm going off on tangents tonight, man. I'm sorry, but this is back-to-back things like you guys know I'm passionate about. One, new media and integrity. Two, grifting and drones and all that other stuff, man. Sorry, my nose keeps itching. I'm not going to do it on camera. There we go. I think it's just like the lighting or something. I have no idea. Anyways, so here we go. I got to get us through this, man. But man, I could talk about this all night long. It's a sort of psyop. Yeah, psyop is just making someone believe something that didn't happen, right? It was used to scare people and got the media some clicks, even if it didn't. They didn't do the actual drone flying. Yeah, they'll take it and run with it, man. They'll take it and run with it. UFO sightings, Bigfoot sightings, paranormal. What doesn't matter? They never let it go to waste if that's what's going on. And then something major will happen. They'll never let that go to waste too. So yeah, the psyops are on different levels. And so we got to get comfortable with the word psyop, right? Because when people hear psyop, they're like, oh, government psyop. It's kind of like the, NWO, right? People hear that and they imagine some organization or an army of some organization when it's just a philosophy. It's just an initiative. So you have to be very careful about what is the first word in front of it? Globalist NWO. Oh, their version of that. I see. Okay, so that's what their version is of this new financial order in the world. I got it. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, and their agenda is horrible, and their ideas are suck, and they suck, and they're elitist, right? Okay, yeah, we want to resist that. That's good. But it's not some marching army that's coming down with a general and a captain. Some people take it as far as to believe the Antichrist is at the head of the table for the NWO. But that's how far down the rabbit hole in the abyss they go. They don't understand that. It's just that people take it and they run with it to play on the fears, to play on people's suspicions and their distrust. They're playing on the exploitable parts of people, right? They understand there's a whole group of people out there that are distrustful of government, and they should be, right? But to the point where they don't even believe reality sometimes, when nothing but their own thoughts and whatever their own biases are now reality for them. So they're just as boxed into a narrative as anybody that watches CNN nonstop and never watches anything else. They're just as boxed into a narrative. This is a different one. right? And it's just as dangerous. It's just as it's more discrediting because establishment narrative. If you're with that, at least people think that some people will think that you are in line, and if the corrupt establishment's in charge, then you're going to be just fine, right? Because you're going to go along and you're going to be their useful idiot, and they're going to protect you for it, right? Anyways, yes, yes, Memento. He should have, but he didn't because one, even though he said he wasn't, he was drinking an awful lot in those days, drinking and drinking and drinking, right? And he was drinking his own Kool-Aid at the same time. He was so big and so rich and had so many people coming at him, and he was the tip of the spear. He was getting more for a YouTube rewatch. It wasn't even live. It became live on YouTube, but a rewatch, right? Where you can just get it, and people have the app. You can listen to Alex Jones all around the clock, right? He had millions of people coming to listen to him because he was an alternative to the establishment media. And some of the things he said were very true and very based and patriot based and so on, right? He had Ron Paul on there. Hell yeah, Ron Paul. A lot of people got in there because Ron Paul and other people that he had on. Then he had some real stinkers on there, like Webster Tarpley and like total commie dude, right? That he thought was a good geopolitical guy, but really he was grifting the hell out of Jones. There's a lot of people grifting Jones, a lot of people, and he'll tell you too. And Barnes will tell you too. A lot of people that know Jones will tell you there's a lot of people grifting him, and he wasn't paying attention. He was just a big bulldog in a china shop, trying to run through the water, But he had his part. He had his part in that too. But like I said, I like Alex. We're on the same team. I hope he does better. I always just pray and hope these guys do better with their reporting and their journalism. I know. I can't stop. There's too much talk about. I'm collecting a GoFundMe for my drones. Okay, help. I hear they hear PSYOP and they think exactly. The PSYOP is all kinds of things, man. Conspiracy grifters pull PSYOPs on you all the time. Their whole gimmick is a PSYOP. Greer, his whole gimmick is a PSYOP. Now, is it government oriented? Is it secret Illuminati conspiracy things? No, it's how he grifts. Grifters run PSYOPs, no matter what. Or who they work for, or what allegiances they have. If they didn't get him for S Hook, they would have gotten him for something. Probably he got on the radar because he got in bad with the Clintons, which of course he did. He was running his mouth constantly, and he messed with a big powerful group that was in charge of the government. They got him. I think hopefully he gets some relief from that. That was unfair, and I didn't like it whatsoever. At the same time, I don't know that he learned from it. I don't know yet. I don't know that he's gotten better. He said he was going to get better. He got thinner. That's good. He's gotten his some popularity back because he got victimized so bad. But did he learn from it? Will he come back Alex 2.0? Will he come back Alex 3.0, a better version, a base version? We need a leader with that kind of power and charisma and already a based people. Has Alex come out and denounced his views on chemtrails, even though they're not real? I saw he had a lady on there that talked about the cloud covering of contrails, the sun blocking of contrails. And that's a real issue. That's the one I've been trying to get people who believe in chemtrails to look at. Like, don't think about no chemicals being sprayed. That's not happening. But what you should be concerned about is the cloud covering capability of flying a plane, a jet engine, through 100% saturated air. Layers of 100% saturation, because I don't like the fact that they crisscross and they block out the sun either. But if an environmental group gets behind that and they say this is what we want, and we're not vigilant about it, they'll get it, and then every day we'll have our sun blocked out in these nice beautiful blue sky days with the sun just looking so beautiful up there, and then all of a sudden within a couple of hours you've got cloud cover. That's not chemtrails. That's just condensation, but you can make those lingering contrails into something if you're not paying attention. So that's what so I always offer people a way out of these grifts, right? And I got a playlist on this, degrifting chemtrails forever, the chemtrail hoax forever, or something like that, some title like that, which walks people through how scientifically they work and why the whole chemical version of that trail isn't real, but how if you want to do something about the way that it looks and you want to help keep the sun shining for all of us, you can actually take your activism, your concern, and steer it into something productive that will actually produce results. And now you're part of the solution. You're not just part of the distraction. You're not part of the discreditation of our group, our side. So choose it if you want to, or ignore it and stay stuck in your bias. It's up to you. Okay, so let me move on. Levy, what do you got to say here, man? I see you in there. Less coordination, more similar goals and ideals. With a similar goal, you don't need planned coordination. That's true. And I talk about emergence, right? So emergence is organized chaos. It's like a skating rink or ants or whatever. It's like we can coordinate without top-down authoritarianism. That is our side. The free will side, the good side, good energy, good energy, free will ideas, right? And then from there, spontaneous order or immersion. So immersion is the way of the base, right? We all do our things as individuals, right? From the energy of good through the ideas that are free will and based in reality, right? And then through that good work, we all meet at the same place. That's the idea, that you don't need an authoritarian slave driver. Now, the guys who work from the evil energy to the ideas of authoritarianism believe that they are the elite, they're the elitist, right? Through false altruism and false virtue, which they project down to their useful idiots, right? They believe that they are the ones ordained to make us do the right thing in their eyes. Their utopia to our dystopia, right? That's the way that works, from what I understand. So there you have that. And yeah, so we don't need planning. We just need people to be working in the spirit of goodness, right? Through the ideas that reflect goodness, and then in their best, most inspired place, whatever that may be. And then we'll all meet at the same. We'll all end up in the same place together. A good place, harmony. That's harmony, right? Harmony isn't forced. It may be arranged slightly, but it's not forced. And that's where real harmony will come from. Force is never a part of harmony. Even if you believe the shit, don't blast the public. Well, you gotta do it, man, right? It's like chatters, lurkers, trolls, content creators. Smash that like. Don't forget, algorithm matters on Rumble. It does. And Jacob Castro, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that snipe. Appreciate it. All right, I need to get moving on. Anybody else? Did I miss anything? No, we did great. We did great. Okay, sorry. I hope you guys are enjoying the insights here. I'm dragging this press conference out so far. I'm almost embarrassed about it. But these are the things we need to talk about. Gundam's here. Hey, Gundam, what's up? How you doing? Where are you at? I need to blast your name out there. I see Gundam. I need to put you up on the screen, dude. Where are you? Way back here? How long ago did I miss you, man? All right, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Since I can't find it, I'm just gonna put this up there. There you go. Hiya, Gundam. All right, cool. Let's get on with it.
To start this briefing with some news. And with that, I will turn it over to questions. And we will begin with our new media members, Mike Allen from Axios, Matt Boyle from Breitbart. Mike, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, I can deal with those two. Let's hear what their questions are. I can deal with these two groups for now. All right, let's see.
Thank you very much. Caroline, does the president see anything?
You know why Breitbart's in there, right? Breitbart's in there because of what's his name? Bannon.
Fishy about deep sea, either its origins or its cost, and could China's ability to make these models quicker, cheaper?
Oh my God. Okay, hold on a second. Just to clarify, what he asked about was DeepSeek AI, China's AI, right? And so I'm going to let her answer this question, and I'll give you my 2 cents.
Affect our thinking about expanding generation data centers, chip manufacturing?
Sure. The president was asked about DeepSeek last night on Air Force One when he gaggled for, I think, the third or fourth time throughout the weekend with members of the traveling press corps. The president said that he believes that this is a wake-up call to the American AI industry. The last administration sat on their hands and allowed China to rapidly develop this AI program. And so President Trump believes in restoring American AI dominance. And that's why he took very strong executive action this past week to sign executive orders to roll back some of the onerous regulations on the AI industry. And President Trump has also proudly appointed the first AI and crypto czar at this White House, David Sachs, whom I spoke with yesterday, very knowledgeable on this subject, and his team is here working every single day to ensure American AI dominance. As for the national security implications, I spoke with NSC this morning. They are looking into what those may be, and when I have an update, I will share it with you, Mike.
Carolyn, you say restore U.S. dominance. Is there a fear that the U.S. either is falling or has fallen behind? And how would the president make sure the U.S. stays ahead?
No, the president is confident that we will restore American dominance in AI.
Yeah, so Caroline, first off, thank you to you and President Trump for actually giving voices to new media outlets that represent millions and millions of Americans.
All right, hold on. I think that was it. All right, so DeepSeek AI, China AI. It's not. Well, everything's China government, right? Everything's owned by the government over there, but it's really a startup. There are AI giants, wasteful AI giants over in China. There's plenty of them. This one right here happened to stumble upon something, right? And this is the deal. NVIDIA, right? If you take a look at NVIDIA stock, it dropped. Okay, NVIDIA is so key in AI. I hope you guys learned this from me if you didn't already know it. NVIDIA is key in AI, very key, because they make the GPUs that are behind AI learning, right? Just to put it briefly, there's a limit on the GPU power they're allowed to sell to China. See, a little sneaky there, but they are not allowed to give them the most powerful GPUs out there, right? So that what NVIDIA has done is they've relabeled a few of their GPUs. They've relabeled their GPUs they send to China. And this is a way of kind of like a little bit of getting around it. Though they're still not as powerful, it gives them a way to sell the good top of the line GPUs to China. Well, this company trained up its AI DeepSeek, which is doing its benchmarks really well. I could do like a deep dive on this where I pull up the benchmarks and compare it to like Claude and OpenAI, ChatGPT, all these other versions of it. There's many different versions of these LLMs, and it benchmarked really well, especially like in math and other things. Like it benchmarked really well, and then it offers a very affordable per token usage. Like it's just like you can basically set up a lot of shit through it and not pay much at all. Like pay fractions compared to the bigger ones. But the idea is that with that much computing power, that little bit of computing power, they were able to compete with our big models here that use a lot of computing power. So that's the big deal with DeepSeek, and that's why people are talking about it, and the fact that it came from this Chinese startup, right? It doesn't necessarily mean this Chinese startup is pro CCP, but there's going to be some concerns on that. So everybody in the AI world is kind of early adoption, getting in on this DeepSeek stuff, and able to basically cut costs with a equally powerful AI, as they've been using for their other automations and AI agents and things that they're building these days. And that's what's going on in the AI world. So that's what the DeepSeek thing is all about. Funny how I open with that question. It's funny. I don't know that it'll get banned or there'll be any problem with it, but that's the background on DeepSeek. In case you haven't heard of what DeepSeek is, there you go.
The thing I would add, I've got a two-part question for you. The first is just, can you expand upon what steps the White House is going to take to bring more voices, not less, which is what our founder, Andrew Breitbart, believed in, into this room where they rightfully belong?
Yeah, absolutely. And
didn't she already cover this? What a terrible question. Didn't she already cover this? I think she already was. Can you not ask a better question? Oh, well, at least it wasn't a stupid question. I mean, at least it wasn't like, can you tell us why the president won't tell us? Yeah, fine.
I said in my opening statement, Matt, it is a priority of this White House to honor the First Amendment. And it is a fact that Americans are consuming their news media from various different platforms, especially young people. And as the youngest press secretary in history, thanks to President Trump, I take great pride in opening up this room to new media voices to share the president's message with as many Americans as possible. In doing so, number one, we will ensure that outlets like yours, Axios and Breitbart, which are widely respected respected and viewed outlets have an actual seat in this room every day. We also, again, encourage anybody in this country, whether you are a TikTok content creator, a blogger, a podcaster, if you are producing legitimate news content, no matter the medium, you will be allowed to apply for press credentials to this White House. And as I said earlier, our new media website is
I hope it goes well
whitehouse.gov/new-media.
for you
And
guys.
so we encourage people to apply. Again, as long
Everybody
as
say
you
a
are
prayer.
creating news-related content of the day, and you're an
I mean, that literally that's me, right? I mean, I could literally sign up right now. Anybody want to be my correspondent? We can take this shit to the next level. Let's go. You have to ask good questions, though. You got to be based.
independent journalist, you're welcome to cover this White House.
And secondly, Caroline, you said you laid out several of the actions that President Trump.
Jacob Castro is going to do it.
Obviously, it's
Jacob
stark
Castro.
contrast to the previous administration of breakneck speed from President Trump. Can we expect that pace to continue as the first 100 days moves along here and beyond that?
Absolutely. There's no doubt President Trump has always been the hardest working man in politics. I think that's been proven over the past week. This president has again signed more than 300 executive orders. He's taken historic action. I gaggled aboard Air Force One to mark the first 100 days of this administration, 4 p.m. last Friday, or first 100 hours rather. And this president did more in the first 100 hours than the previous president did in the first 100 days. So,
Look it up.
President
Hit the base
Trump,
button.
I think
Hit
you
the
can all
base button.
expect for him to continue to work at this breakneck speed. So I hope you're all ready to work very hard. I know that we are. Zeke Miller.
Thanks, Caroline. A question that we've asked your predecessors of both parties in this job. When you're up here in this briefing room speaking to
Levy,
the public,
you want to do it?
yourself and your role as
How you feel about
speaking
DC?
advocating on behalf of the president or providing the unvarnished truth that is, not to lie, not to obfuscate to the American people.
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people. And that's exactly what this administration is doing. It's correcting the lies and the wrongs of the past 4 years, many of the lies that have been told to your faces in this very briefing room. I will not do that. But since you brought up truth, Zeke, I would like to point out, while I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
And Caroline, just on a substantive question, yesterday, the White House Office of Management and Budget directed across the board freeze.
Ronnie.
Some exceptions for individual assistance, we understand, to federal grants. It's caused a lot of confusion around the country.
Okay, so this one, you're going to hear this a bunch. This is, again, the mainstream media trying to set a narrative on this. So watch how she handles this. You're going to see this. It's going to happen in succession here. So I'm going to let it roll.
Among Head Start providers, among providers services to homeless veterans, Medicaid providers, states saying they're having trouble accessing the.
They're always going to go for the heartstrings. Look at what you're doing. Are you guys taking funding away from Head Start? From Head Start? You guys, does most people know what Head Start is? Government could get your kids earlier than school age government stuff. The Head Start program. Are you taking money from the kids? And what about injured veterans? What about single mothers and what about kittens without moms? And I mean, it's like they're going to go for every heartstring, and that's abusive, right? To emotionally manipulate someone is abusive. I mean, I get it. Sometimes you gotta ask someone to remember their empathy. Sometimes that's that's not quite the same. It's kind of being emotionally persuasive, but this is emotionally manipulative, as in they understand that they're piling on these imageries. Remember how the human brain OS works, right? First, you hear something. When you hear something, you got the image first, right? And then the context comes behind it, right? Boom, boom, the archetype, right? So you hear it, you see the image flash. Poor mom, or poor veteran with no legs that these mean people aren't going to give money to. Then none of this is true, right? But because of the way the human brain OS works, they're already getting those things going. So the people that aren't paying attention, the people that aren't based like you guys out there, the people that are easily subjectable and that are already bought into the establishment narrative, already decided these people are evil. Boom, boom, boom. This is working like you wouldn't like beautifully. It's working beautifully. Right? It's sparking them up. They're getting on their Facebook accounts right now going, these motherfuckers taking money away from kids' Head Start program. And he doesn't care about veterans because he's taking money away. They hadn't even heard the explanation yet. They're already typing their little post about how furious they are and how I'm not going to do, all that shit. Right? Emotional appeal, emotional manipulation is part of their mind control apparatus, and that's how subversion works, right?
Portal. Could you help us clear up some of the confusion, give some certainty to folks, and also how does that uncertainty service the president's voters?
Well, I think there's only uncertainty in this room amongst the media. There's no uncertainty.
Gotta love it. Smack them around, Caroline.
In this building.
Sweet
so
Caroline.
Let me provide the certainty and the clarity that all of you need. This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant.
We gotta start that, right? When she nails the press, I gotta get that Neil Diamond line. Sweet Caroline. And that'll be her tagline, right? I gotta start making the shorts like that, right? I might have to do that.
Programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause. And I want to make that very clear to any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that. However, it is the responsibility of this president and this administration to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. That is something that President Trump campaigned on. That's why he has launched DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, who is working alongside OMB. And that's why OMB sent out this memo last night, because the president signed an executive order directing OMB to do just this. And the reason for this is to ensure that every penny that is going out the door is not conflicting with the executive orders and actions that this president has taken. So what does this pause mean? It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for the Green New scam that has cost American taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy and agencies. No more funding for Green New Deal social engineering policies. Again, people who are receiving individual assistance, you will continue to receive that. And President Trump is looking out for you by issuing this pause because he is being good steward of your taxpayer dollars.
Thanks, Caroline.
I mean, could it be any more clear than this? Could it be any more clear than this? Right? Yes, very bad people are going to do very bad things, right? Oh my God, oh Lord, my family going to be on the street. They done took all the Section 8 money away. Help me. Yeah. And then you got idiots like that. They're going to go out there and scam, and I hope they all go to jail. Where's the money, Yep, just like that guy. In fact, he may be the originator of it. I'm sure he's out there somewhere scamming some money because he can't earn it himself.
Sure. How long is this pause going to last? And how is the Trump administration recommending that organizations that rely on federal funding make payroll, pay their rent in the meantime?
It is a temporary pause, and the Office of Management and Budget is reviewing the federal funding that has been going out the door. Again, not for individual assistance, but for all of these other programs that I mentioned. I also spoke with the incoming director of OMB this morning, and he told me to tell all of you that the line to his office is open for other federal government agencies across the board. And if they feel that programs are necessary and in line with the president's agenda, then the Office of Management and Budget will review those policies. I think this is a very responsible measure. Again, the past 4 years, we've seen the Biden administration spend money like drunken sailors. It's a big reason we've had an inflation crisis in this country. And it's incumbent upon this administration to make sure, again, that every penny is being accounted for honestly.
Why impose this pause with so little notice? Why not give organizations more time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding?
Oh, we're so sorry. You're not going to have your money for tea. Should we warn you? I think we warned you for a year. You know, we're getting away with all your dumb shit. That means you don't get money for it. I mean, is that enough of a warning? I mean, how much more warning do you need? We're going to cut your stupid, ridiculous programs that you've been probably laundering money through for the last 4 years. We're going to stop those. Did we not say that we're going to stop waste and fraud and ridiculous Marxist ideologies, programs, ideological subversive programs? Did we not say that was going to happen? God, people, but watch, they keep going.
For a period of time.
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze
No more
on foreign
dumbasses.
aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working. And their tax dollars actually matter to this administration. You know, just during this pause, DOGE and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda.
Winning?
DOGE and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So
What kind of
that's
eugenics
what
program
this
is
pause
that?
is focused on, being good stewards of tax dollars.
And so this doesn't affect Meals on Wheels.
Well, how about that? Doge is already kicking ass, already saving us money, already stopping wasteful money laundering. Yeah, that's what it's just money laundering. Really, you need that much money for condoms in a Muslim country? Did I hear this right? What country was that in again? Really? Really? That's what it's for. Why don't we just send them condoms? Why are we sending them money for condoms? I think we're so stupid. And this group respects us. And that's why these dumbasses aren't getting their money. I can't wait to hear. Boy, we're going to have so much fun hearing about the bullshit waste. It's going to be hurt. It's going to be infuriating, but in a funny way. We're going to find out some of the stupidest programs on earth that were funded by our hard labor. And while we suffered, right? This corrupt establishment stole from us, and they disguised it in the name of virtue and altruism. Their masks they wear, right? Roscoe Treat, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, they use the condoms to drop their weapons and bombs. They're more durable than balloons. Continued those that commit that type of fraud to make it hard on them to bust their tails yet still help. I think I read that right. All right, let's go.
Bills for Head Start or disaster aid.
Again,
You hear that? Again, Head Start. That's the second time they've mentioned Head Start. She's already answered the question. So, I mean, as bad as some grifty, podcaster in the front row maybe asking stupid questions, this infuriating establishment tactic, how's she going to handle it? It's the second time. Well, what about for disabled children and puppies without tails or eyes? So, how are you going to help them? It's like shit like that. It's like, once you just ask the most heart-wrenching question in the world, what about for just come up with it on your own. You guys got great imaginations. So you do it. Let's go.
Does not affect individual assistance that's going to Americans.
To follow up on Nancy, do you think there will be a list of who is affected and how much money is affected? How will these contractors and organizations know if they are actually having their funding frozen? And then secondly, if you're willing, can you just clarify, is the end goal of this to essentially challenge Congress or to prove that the president can withhold federal funding? In other words, is this?
Is it? She can't. It's like she can't understand making a good decision. Is it? I don't understand why this. What does this good decision have to do with anything? Is he trying to prove something? Is it about ego? Because that's what I'm used to, and I don't know what to think otherwise.
An attempt to pick a fight to prove that he can do this?
No, absolutely not. As it says right here in the memo.
Did she think that she was going to get a positive response on that question? Yeah, that's what it is. He's trying to pick a fight. He's not trying to do what's right or do what he promised or make the right decision or make the decision that every president should make. I mean, it should be that easy, right? No. Obviously, it's to pick a fight. So go print that, right?
I have, and I'd encourage all of you to read it. It says the American people elected President Trump to be the president of the United States and gave him a mandate to increase the impact of every federal dollar. This memo requires federal agencies to identify and review all federal financial assistance programs and supporting activities consistent with the president's policies and requirements. The American people gave President Trump an overwhelming mandate on November 5th, and he's just trying to ensure that the tax money going out the door in this very bankrupt city actually aligns with the will and the priorities of the American people.
So will there be a line?
Yes. Welcome. You look great. You're doing a great job. You talked about transparency, and some of us in this room know how just transparent President Trump has been the last 5 or 6 years. I think you'll do the same. My question is, do you think this latest incident with the president of Colombia is indicative of the global, powerful respect they have for President Trump moving forward, not only to engage in economic diplomacy with these countries, but also world peace?
Absolutely. I'll echo the answer that the president gave on Air Force One last night when he was asked a very similar question by one of your colleagues in the media. This signifies peace through strength is back. And this president will not tolerate illegal immigration into America's interior. And he expects every nation on this planet, again, to cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens who illegally entered into our country and broke America's laws. Won't be tolerated. And as you saw, the Colombian government quickly folded and agreed to all of President Trump's demands. Flights are underway once again.
Two questions.
Yeah, they did.
If I may. President Trump had said on the campaign trail that he would deport pro-Hamas students who are here on visas.
Yeah,
and
boy,
on his
get them
first
out.
day in office, he signed an executive order that said, quote,
Get
U.S.
'em
must
out.
ensure that admitted aliens and aliens otherwise already present in the U.S. do not bear hostile attitudes towards the citizens, culture, government, institutions, or founding principles. So should we take this executive order as Trump saying he would be open to deporting those students who are here on visas, but hold pro-Hamas sympathies?
The president is open to deporting individuals who have broken our nation's immigration laws. So if they are here illegally, then certainly he is open to deporting them. And that's what this administration is hard at work at doing. We receive data from DHS and from ICE every single day. From what we hear on the ground, ICE agents are feeling incredibly empowered right now because they actually have a leader in this building who is supporting them in doing their jobs that they were hired to do, which is to detain, arrest, and deport illegal criminals who have invaded our nation's borders over the past 4 years. That's what the president is committed to seeing. Peter.
Very quickly, just following up on the question on immigration first. President Trump, during the course of the campaign in 2024, said the following about illegal immigration. He said, they're going back home where they belong, and we start with the criminals. There are many, many criminals. NBC News has learned that ICE arrested 1,179 undocumented immigrants on Sunday, but nearly half of them, 566 of the migrants, appear to have no prior criminal record.
Muddying the water. Here we go.
Besides entering the country illegally, is the president still focused exclusively, which is a civil crime, it's not criminal.
It's a federal crime.
So I'm asking though, he said he was going to focus on those violent offenders first. So is violent offenders no longer the predicate for these people to be deported?
The president has said countless times on the campaign trail, I've been with him at the rallies. I know you've been there covering them too, Peter.
Yeah,
that
Peter.
He is focused.
That's right, Peter. Peter Eater. That's right. You were there too, but you're asking a dumb question. And now you're getting ready to get put in your place.
On launching the largest mass deportation operation in American history of illegal criminals. And if you are an individual, a foreign national who illegally enters the United States of America, you are by definition a criminal. And so therefore you are subject to
exclusively-
deportation.
I apologize for interrupting. So to be clear, it's not, violent criminals do not receive precedence in terms of the deportations taking
The
place.
president has also said two things can be true at the same time. We want to deport illegal criminals, illegal immigrants from this country, but the president has said that, of course, the illegal criminal drug dealers, the rapists, the murderers, the individuals who have committed heinous acts on the interior of our country and who have terrorized law-abiding American citizens, absolutely, those should be the priority of ICE, but that doesn't mean that the other illegal criminals who entered our nation's borders are off the table.
Understood. Then let me ask you a separate question about the confusion that still exists across the country right now.
The only people that are confused are you, but they're not really confused. You're just trying to confuse the issue. That's your job, though, isn't it?
That relates to the freeze or the pause as it's described. President Trump, of course, ran one of the key policy items was that he was going to lower prices, lower the cost of everything from groceries, as he often said. But in many of the cases, it would seem that some of these moves could raise prices for real Americans on everything from low-income heating, that program, childcare programs. Will nothing that the president's doing here in terms of the freeze in these programs raise prices on ordinary Americans?
What particular actions are you referring to that
I'm
would
referring to LHEAP right now. That's the low-income heating program, for example. We can talk about, there's no clarity, so I could refer to a lot of them. We don't know what they are specifically. Can you tell us that LHEAP is not one of those?
Oh, not
so you're asking a
LHEAP.
hypothetical based on
LHEAP,
programs that
no
you
money
can't
for
even
LHEAP?
identify.
I just
What I
identified.
can tell
Well,
you
just to be
is that
clear, since you guys haven't identified, let's do it together just for Americans at home.
No, I don't think so, pal. This isn't your time. You're supposed to ask a question, and she's going to answer the question. And what you need to do is be respectful to the lady. All right.
Medicaid, is that affected?
I gave you a list of examples: Social Security, Medicare, welfare benefits, food stamps that will not be impacted by this federal pause.
Not impacted, jackass. Listen to what she's saying. Not impacted.
I can get you the full list after this briefing from the Office of Management and Budget, but I do want to address the cost cutting. Because that's certainly very important, and cutting the cost of living in this country. President Trump has taken historic action over the past week to do that. He actually signed a memorandum to deliver emergency price relief for American families, which took a number of actions. I can walk you through those. He also repealed many onerous Biden administration regulations. We know over the past 4 years, American households has been essentially taxed $55,000 in regulations from the previous administration. President Trump, with the swipe of his pen, rescinded those, which will ultimately put more money back in the pockets of the American people. So deregulation is a big deal. And then when it comes to energy, I mean, the president signed an executive order to declare a national energy emergency here at home, which is going to make America energy dominant. We know that energy is one of the #1 drivers of inflation. And so that's why the president wants to increase our energy supply to bring down costs for Americans. The Trump energy boom is incoming, and Americans can expect that.
We got to get on gas price watch, right? That's gonna be fun. So as your gas prices come down in your neighborhoods, I think maybe we'll start by just start the show by asking what the gas prices are for a little while in your area, just so we can let's get a good benchmark of where they're at, and then we'll just watch them just drain on down, saving money.
Thank you.
Caroline, I think some of the confusion may be here with this pause on federal funding. You've made it clear
Nobody's confused but you.
you're not stopping funds that go directly to individuals, but there certainly are lots of organizations that receive funding and then may pass along a benefit. Meals on Wheels, for one.
Not the Meals on Wheels. People are going to starve now. Now they're going to starve because Trump didn't froze the funding for it to figure out what's going on. Or did he?
Meals for over 2.2 million seniors. What is the president's message to Americans out there?
Seniors, grandma's going to starve. Grandma's starving. Help me. I'm so old. I keep starving. Right? You guys get that image in your mind too? Oh, starving grandma. Don't starve grandma. She did so much for us. She loves us. She loves us. Don't starve her. Yeah. Grandma's not going to starve.
Many of whom supported him and voted for him, who are concerned that this is going to impact them directly, even if, as you said, the funding isn't coming directly to their wallet.
I have now been asked and answered this question 4 times. To individuals at home, who receive direct assistance from the federal government, you will not be impacted by this federal freeze. In fact, OMB just sent out a memo to Capitol Hill with Q&A to clarify some of the questions and the answers that all of you are asking me right now. Again, direct assistance will not be impacted. I've been asked and answered about this OMB memo. There's many other topics of the day. Jackie
But
Heinrich.
indirect assistance,
Thank you,
Caroline,
Thank
is
you.
going to another organization and then trickling down.
Thank you, Caroline. You've been very clear. And I think that these people are being very unfair. They need to learn how to ask questions right, and they need to learn how to listen. You all need to work on your listening skills because you don't have any right now.
Direct assistance that is in the hands of the American people will not be impacted. Again, as I said to Peter, we will continue to provide that list as it comes to fruition. But OMB right now is focused on analyzing the federal government's spending, which is exactly what the American people elected President Trump to do.
That's right. Bingo.
On immigration, of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the...
They all do. Oh, I got this one, Caroline. They all have criminal records because they broke the law. First thing they did when they got here. They all have criminal records now. We haven't prosecuted all of them. We're going to send them back as a favor to them instead of finding them and throwing them in jail for committing a federal crime in which we have a 99.9% conviction rate, which means they're all going to go to jail, right? We're going to give them a break. We're going to send them home with a free airline trip and some peanuts and maybe a little soda to go with it, right? Make a nice flight. And we're going to drop them off and they're going to stay home. They're going to go back to the neighborhood, see the fam, all that stuff. They go back, get their gig back there, that help them raise money to come here. We're doing them a favor. I got that one. You don't have to answer that question. But you can go ahead.
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way. So it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
Right? I mean, it's a big culture shift into reality.
Worse, they all have a criminal record.
And welcome to the briefing.
If they broke our nation's
Why is there
laws,
so much
yes,
talk about
they are
menopause in the
criminals.
chat?
Yes, thank you. On
You guys
certain
listening to
security
this?
details for figures like John Bolton, Pompeo, Brian Hook, Senator Tom Cotton said that he's seen the intelligence and the threat from Iran is real for anyone who played a role in the Soleimani strike. He voiced concern it wouldn't just impact those individuals, but potentially their family, innocent bystanders, friends, anyone who's near them when they're out in public.
Oh.
Is the president open to
Love this answer.
reconsidering his decision?
Point up.
The president was asked and answered this yesterday, and he was firm in his decision, despite some of the comments that you had referenced. And he's made it very clear that he does not believe American taxpayers should fund security details for individuals who have served in the government for the rest of their lives. And there's nothing stopping these individuals that you mentioned from obtaining private security. That's where the president stands on it. I have no updates on that.
Bingo. Nothing stopping them from taking the millions of dollars they made off us, right? And buying their own goddamn security. Especially Fauci, the highest paid guy in the land with the worst results ever, gets to keep all his millions and millions of dollars, right? And so, yeah, he could spend some dough on keeping his ass alive, all right? Or not. But guess what? We're not paying for another damn thing for you, dude. Not another damn thing for you, not another damn thing for anybody who subverted and worked against the best interest of this country, that committed crimes and then covered their asses so we could never get to them. No more money for you. You get nothing. You get nothing. You get no security. You get no promises. And if something happens to you, you get no recognition. I mean, you're just done. You're out. You're gone. You're corrupt. You're the establishment. We don't care. Bye. You're lucky that you're not behind bars.
Any concern that this decision might jeopardize the administration's ability to hire the best advisors for these kinds of positions in the future?
No, in fact, I've talked to the presidential personnel office who has told me directly that there is such an influx of resumes for this administration that it's incredibly overwhelming. There is no lack of talent for the Trump administration.
Reagan, would he take any responsibility if anything happened to these people? Would he feel at all that his decision was a factor in that?
I would not feel guilty for 1 second at all.
President was asked and answered this yesterday. I defer you to his
Thanks,
comments.
Caroline.
Reagan, since you're in the
Ask
back
and
row, I
answer.
hear the back row hasn't
How you do with
gotten much
children?
attention in the last 4 years, so I'm happy to answer your question.
What? Asked and answered.
Does the president intend to permanently cut off funding to NGOs that are bringing illegal foreign nationals to the country, such as Catholic charities?
I am
Yeah,
actually
do
quite
it.
certain that
Oh my God! Before she even answers, do it. I'm all in favor of this. I mean, Catholic, I don't give a fuck. A lot of people, as we learned in Line in the Sand, for those of you who watched it with us, and even though it's behind Tucker Carlson's very selfish paywall for that movie, doesn't want to share it with the people because he's, America first. But he in that movie, they showed the Catholic NGOs were behind a lot of the child trafficking, and it wasn't even in a lot of cases the Catholic Church. In fact, it was explained that these a lot of these NGOs started out as Catholic, and then people were funneled in, and the Catholics kind of left. So they're really just holding on to the name Catholic. And it's so funny this establishment useful idiot reporter brought it up in such a fashion. Shows that she doesn't do her research either, does she? Right? So yeah, cut off the funding to anybody involved in child trafficking in our country, and that's the only way we're going to do it. Yeah, cut Catholic charities, human trafficking. See, my crowd knows. They're informed. You guys are informed. You were on it as fast as I was. Yeah, man. You guys were on it. Yep. No more getting paid to lose the war either.
the president signed an executive order that did just that, and I can point you to that.
One more, Caroline. President Trump issued an executive order on increased vetting for refugees and visa applications. Right. Part of that order was considering an outright ban for countries that have deficient screening processes. Has the president considered yet which countries might fall into this category? Or countries like Afghanistan or Syria under consideration for a full ban?
Yeah, so the president signed an executive order to streamline the vetting for visa applicants and for illegal immigrants in this country who are coming, of course, from other nations. It also directed the Secretary of State to review the process and make sure that other countries around the world are being completely transparent with our nation and the individuals that they are sending here. And so the Secretary of State has been directed to report back to the president. I haven't seen that report yet. We've only been here for a few days.
One on the freeze in federal funding. Who advised the president on the legality of telling government agencies that they don't have to spend money that was already appropriated by Congress?
Well, as the OMB memo states, this is certainly within the confines of the law. So White House counsel's office believes that this is within the president's power to do it, and therefore he's doing it.
Okay, so they disagree with lawmakers who say that they don't have the power to freeze this funding.
Again, I would point you to the language in the memo that clearly states this is within the law.
And all that happened on Friday night. The administration fired several inspectors general without giving Congress the 30-day legally required notification that they were being fired. I think only two were left at DHS and the DOJ. And then yesterday we saw several prosecutors, I believe 12, fired from the Justice Department who worked on the investigations into the president. As you know, they are career prosecutors, therefore they are afforded civil service protections. How is the administration deciding which laws to follow and which ones to ignore?
So it is the belief of this White House and the White House.
How is the administration deciding which laws to follow and which laws to ignore? What a piece of shit question.
Counsel's office that the president was within his executive authority to do that. He is the executive of the executive branch, and therefore he has the power to fire anyone within the executive branch that he wishes to. There's also a case that went before the Supreme Court in 2020, Scala Law LLC versus the Customs, Bureau Protection. I would advise you to look at that case, and that's the legal.
Yeah, do some research, you lazy ass establishment hack.
That this White House was resting
So
on.
you're confident that if they bring lawsuits against you, those prosecutors who were fired, that they will succeed?
We will win in court.
And did he personally direct this, given they worked on the classified documents investigation in the election?
The witch hunt? Yeah, the witch hunt people. Yeah, we're pretty sure we're going to win against them. Pretty sure.
Investigation.
This was a memo that went out by the Presidential Personnel Office, and the president is the leader of this White House. So yes,
Caroline.
Caroline. Thank you. Congrats on your first day on the podium.
Thank you.
President Trump ended funding for UNRWA and also designated the Houthis a foreign terrorist organization.
That's right.
Both were decisions that the previous
She's like, that's right. That's right.
administration had reversed. So here's my question. will there be an investigation into who gave the previous administration this terrible advice?
Well, that's a very good point. I haven't heard discussions about such an investigation, but it wouldn't be a bad idea considering
That's a great question.
Certainly are terrorists. They have launched attacks on U.S. naval ships across this world. And so I think it was a very wise move by this administration to redesignate them as a terrorist group because they are. And I think it was a foolish decision by the previous administration to do so. As for an investigation, I'm not sure about that, but it's not a bad idea. Josh.
Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Can you give us an update on the president's plan for his tariff agenda? He spoke a lot about this yesterday.
Tariff agenda is coming for you. Yeah, tariff agenda is going to get us out of income tax. How you guys like that? It could happen, man. We might be there. How about that?
Yesterday, and there's a couple of dates coming up that he's spoken to. Number one, February 1st, he's alluded to both the potential for tariffs for Canada and Mexico, but also China to take effect on those days.
Right, Libby.
What's he thinking about that?
Yeah.
Should those countries expect that?
Again, he was asked and answered this question this past weekend when he took a lot of questions from the press, and he said that the February 1st date for Canada and Mexico still holds.
What about the China 10% tariff that he also had mused about last Tuesday going into effect on the same day?
Yeah, the president has said that he is very much still considering that for February 1st.
Yesterday, he talked also about sectoral tariffs on, for instance, pharmaceuticals as well as semiconductor computer chips. He talked about steel, aluminum, and copper. What's the timeline on those? Is that a similar sort of coming days thing?
Yeah, so when the president talked about that in his speech yesterday, that actually wasn't a new announcement. That was within a presidential memorandum that he signed in one of the first days here in the White House on his America First trade agenda. So there's more details on those tariffs in there. As far as a date, I don't have a specific date to read out to you, but the president is committed to implementing tariffs effectively, just like he did in his first term.
Finally, he also was asked on the plane when he gaggled about the potential for a universal tariff. He was asked maybe about 2.5%. There was a report about that. He said he wanted much bigger than that. Should we understand that these tariffs would add up? You know, in other words, you might have country-specific tariffs like Canada, Mexico, China. You might have sectoral tariffs like on pharmaceuticals, as well as a potential universal tariff on top of that. Do these stack on one or the other, or would one sort of take precedence over another?
All I can point you to is what the president has said on this front. The February 1st date for Canada and Mexico, also the China tariff that he has discussed. He rejected the 2.5% tariff. He said that was a little bit too low. He wants it to be higher. I'll leave it to him to make any decisions on that front. Phil Weigman.
What the Mexicans and Canadians have done so far, do you have any comment on whether that has met the bar, what he wants to see on fentanyl? Thank you.
I won't get ahead of the president again on advocating to foreign nations on what they should or shouldn't do to get away from these tariffs. The president has made it very clear, again, that he expects every nation around this world to cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens. And the president has also put out specific statements in terms of Canada and Mexico when it comes to what he expects in terms of border security. We have seen a historic level of cooperation from Mexico. But again, as far as I'm still tracking, and that was last night talking to the president directly, February 1st is still on the books. Phil.
Thank you, Caroline. Quick programming note and then a question on taxes. Well, in terms of programming, should we expect to see you here every day? How frequently will these press briefings be?
It is a good question, April. So look, the president, as you know, is incredibly accessible. First day here, he wanted all of you in the Oval Office. You got a 60-minute press conference with the leader of the free world while he was simultaneously signing executive orders. I may add that's pretty impressive. I don't think the previous office holder.
And I'm muted. I'm saying it's called multitasking, something we do here all the time. Thank you. 5 people says muted. 6. Come on. 7. More muted. Yes, I believe I came up with it with multitasking. I believe I might have invented that. But yes, when you do more than one thing at a time, it's possible. And that's how we do it. Thank you, Levy. Thank you. All right, now we're good.
Holder would be able to pull such a thing off. So look, the president is the best spokesperson that this White House has. And I can assure you that you will be hearing from both him and me as much as possible.
And then a question about tax cuts.
We can't wait.
You know, the president has promised to extend the tax cuts from the previous term. I'm curious, you know, does the president support corresponding spending cuts as some Republicans have called for in Congress? And will the new Treasury Secretary be leading those negotiations with the Hill as
Say his
in the
name.
first administration?
The president is committed to both tax cuts and spending cuts. And he has a great team negotiating on his behalf, but there's no better negotiator than Donald Trump. And I'm sure he'll be involved in this reconciliation process as it moves forward.
Caroline, in the announcement that you made last night on the Iron Dome, it said the president had directed that the United States will build this Iron Dome.
Yeah.
When you read into the executive order, it seemed short of that. It asked for a series of studies and reports back to them. Can you tell us whether the president has directed this? And if he is as concerned on this issue, why the suspensions that we saw listed by OMB?
Jesus, dude. Can you be more critical? It's like, I mean, first of all, I'm gonna let her answer, then we'll talk about the U.S. Iron Dome.
Included so many different nuclear programs, non-proliferation programs, programs to blend down nuclear weapons, and so forth.
First of all, when it comes to the Iron Dome, the executive order directed the
Iron
implementation of an Iron Dome. It also, as you said, kind of directed research and studies to see if or how the United States can go about doing this, particularly the Department of Defense. When it comes to the other question that you asked about those specific programs, again, I would say this is not a ban. This is a temporary pause and a freeze to ensure that all of the money going out from Washington, D.C. is in line with the president's agenda. And as the Office of Management and Budget has updates on what will be kickstarted once again, I will provide those to you.
Just to clarify for a sec what you were saying before on Medicaid. It wasn't clear to me whether you were saying that no Medicaid would be cut off. Obviously, a lot of this goes to states before it goes to individuals and so forth. So are you guaranteeing here that no individual now on Medicaid would see a cutoff because of the pause?
I'll check back on that and get back to you. John.
That's right.
Thanks a lot,
Right.
Caroline.
Put some
As you
respect
know,
on that.
in the first week that the president was in office, signed an executive
respect on
order
that.
as it relates to birthright citizenship, trying to eliminate
That's right. That bullshit's done.
22 state attorney generals have said
Game over.
that this is unconstitutional. A federal judge has just agreed with their argument. What's the administration's argument for doing away with birthright citizenship?
The folks
It's
that you
wrong.
mentioned have a right to have that legal opinion.
It's
But
wrong.
it is
That's
in
why.
disagreement with the legal
Thank you.
opinion of this administration. This administration believes that birthright citizenship is unconstitutional. And that is why President Trump signed that executive order. Illegal immigrants who come to this country and have a child are not subject to the laws of this jurisdiction. That's the opinion of this administration. We have already appealed the lawsuit that was filed against this administration, and we are prepared to fight this all the way to the Supreme Court if we have to, because President Trump believes that this is a necessary step to secure our nation's borders and
Sure
protect our
is.
homeland.
Foreign policy, Caroline. On foreign policy.
Yeah. This guy, I mean, this is like how normalized it is. This guy actually thought it was a real thing. But it's a real thing, isn't it? No, it's not. It's just you were born into a corrupt system, a rigged system like the rest of us. See, now we have to start getting back to what is real and what is not. And see, that was never a real thing, but it was allowed to continue, because the system was being corrupted by corrupted individuals with an agenda, right? Oh, I gotta do something about this shaking thing. I'm out. All right, so yeah, it was designed to destroy the country. See, we're taking away things that were designed to destroy the country, and we're taking them away, and we're replacing them with things that are right, constitutional, so that they won't destroy the country. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right.
Let's see if I may. The president's commitment to the NATO Defense Alliance, is it as strong as the prior administration? Is it the same as when he served as president in his
Why does he care about this?
first term in office?
I love NATO. I'm a big NATO fanboy, by the way. I'm Bill from NATO News. Just wondering, does the president love us? But
Their fair share, and President Trump has called on NATO allies to increase their defense spending to 5%. You actually saw the head of NATO at Davos last week on Bloomberg television saying that President Trump is right, and if Europe wants to keep itself
like, yeah, give us more money.
safe, they should increase their defense spending. I would just add that there was no greater ally to our European allies than President Trump in his first term.
Damn
the
right.
world for all
Leading
nations
by
in
example.
Europe,
Reject
and
your
of course here
European
at
Union,
home, was
you
much safer
slaves.
because of President Trump's peace through strength diplomatic approach. Monica.
Thank you, Caroline. And it's great to finally be called on as well in the briefing room. I appreciate that. Of course, we know President Trump just got back from North Carolina and California meeting with victims of natural disasters. There's the 2-year anniversary of the East Palestine, Ohio toxic train derailment. Does the
Oh, it's like who's celebrating that?
president have any plans to go visit the victims of that toxic spill or just visit in general?
No plans that I can read out for you here. If that changes, I will certainly keep you posted. What I can tell you is that President Trump still talks about his visit to East Palestine, Ohio. That was one of the turning points, I would say, in the previous election campaign, where Americans were reminded that President Trump is a man of the people, and he, as a candidate, visited that town that was just derailed by the train derailment, no pun intended, and he offered support and hope, just like I saw the president do this past week. It was a purposeful decision by this president on his first domestic trip to go to North Carolina and to California to visit with Americans who were impacted by Hurricane Helene and also by the deadly fires. A red state and a blue state, both of which feel forgotten by the previous administration and the federal government. That is
because they were. It's because the previous administration didn't love you. Nope, they didn't.
That is now ended under President Trump. He will continue to put Americans first, whether they're in East Palestine, in Pacific Palisades, or in North Carolina.
Thank you, Caroline. On California, could you please clarify what the military did with the water last night as referenced in the president's Truth Social post?
The water has been turned back on in California. And this comes just days after President Trump visited Pacific Palisades, and as you all saw, applied tremendous pressure on state and local officials in Pacific Palisades, including Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, to turn on the water and to direct that water to places in the south and in the middle of the state that have been incredibly dry, which has led to the rapid expansion of these fires.
So could you clarify what the military's role was, where the water came from, and how it got there?
Again, the Army Corps of Engineers has been on the ground in California to respond to the devastation from these wildfires. And I would point out that just days.
It'd be cool if she just had the video right there behind her. Cool up and here you go. Here it is. You literally see army guys turning a giant valve to turn the water on. I don't know what this guy's hoping to get out of this question. I mean, maybe he's just curious. I was like, well, did they have a big wrench? Was it a giant wheel? I mean, my mind is going crazy here. I need answers.
After President Trump visited the devastation from these fires, the water was turned on. That is because of the pressure campaign he put on state and local officials there who clearly lack all common sense. And I will never forget being at that roundtable with the president last week and hearing the frustration in the voices of Pacific Palisades residents who feel as though their government has just gone insane. Before President Trump showed up on the scene,
they're just realizing it. They're having their moment of clarity. That could come. I remember what I said about the wildfires and the hurricanes, guys. Moments of clarity emerge from big things like this. People wake up to the reality of the true nature of reality during big events like this. It's always an opportunity for a moment of clarity. And it's also an opportunity for a moment of insanity. That's why when things like this happen, hurricanes and fires, right? You get one side saying it's climate change, and the other side saying it's weather weapons, it's space lasers, right? And that muddies the waters, because right now, what the people in North Carolina and the people in California are realizing is that their government doesn't give a shit about them, but they've been paying into it and backing them. They back these people there, back the establishment, and the establishment's supposed to love them. And now they figured out when the chips were down and their backs were against the wall, guess who didn't love them? Guess who isn't there? Oh, don't worry, honey, the government's coming to save us. Are they, mama? Yeah, the government's coming to save us. Don't worry. Joe Biden won't let bad things happen to us, right? And then it's like, well, is he coming, mama? Is he coming? Right? And Biden never comes. He never shows up. The administration's never there for him. And then they realize they've been duped. Now it's easy to say, well, that all those times they promised something and didn't deliver, I made excuses for them. Now it's about me. It's about my kids. It's about my future. It's about everything that I own being gone, and they're not here. And they're bullshitting and they're lying on television. And now I'm seeing clearly what the hell's going on in this world. That's the moment of clarity, right? And if you go out and jump a shark and you start believing, well, that's because the climate change, they can't do nothing about it. Or laser space do weapons and freaking weather weapon hurricane machines, man. You know, you start jumping the shark on that, you might miss the point that the establishment's corrupt and been screwing you the entire time. Welcome to reality. Come on, hang out with the base crowd right here.
Karen Bass was telling private property owners that they would have to wait 18 months to access their private property. So this administration, the president and his team that's on the ground in California, Rick Grinnell, who he has designated to oversee this great crisis, it will continue to put pressure on Karen Bass and state and local officials to allow residents to access their properties. This is a huge part of it. These residents want to take part in their own clearing out of their properties. They should be able to do that. It's the United States of America. What happened to our freedom? Clearly it's gone in California, but not anymore under President Trump. April.
Caroline.
I love that. Clearly it's gone in California. We're not hearing of President Trump, you bastards.
Welcome to the briefing room.
Thank you.
Several questions. One on the pause. Will minority serving institutions, preferably colleges and universities, have those monies held back temporarily at this moment?
Again, I have not seen the entire list because this memo was just sent out. So I will provide you all with updates as we receive them. Okay.
Secondly, when it comes to immigration, there is this southern border focus. What happens to those who've overstayed their visas? That is part of the broken immigration system. In 2023, there was a report by the Biden administration, the Homeland Security Department, that said overstays of visas were 3 times more than usual. Will there be a focus on the overstays for visas as well?
If an individual is overstaying their visa, they are therefore an illegal immigrant residing in this country and they are subject to deportation.
And also lastly, as we're dealing with anti-DEI, anti-woke efforts, we understand this administration is thinking about celebrating Black History Month. Have you got any word on that? Anything that you can offer?
I missed this part. We're not going to do Black History Month. Why? Because Black people don't want us to do it in the first place? Are they actually listening to Black voices now? Ooh, I don't know what's going to happen right here. I missed this part. Let's go.
As far as I know, this White House certainly still intends to celebrate, and we will continue to celebrate American history and the contributions that.
I love it. We're still American history. I love the way she phrased that. We're all together in this, guys. It's our history. It's our history. And you know what we need to do with that history? We need to repair that history with the great work of Thomas Sowell. Now, everybody loves Thomas Sowell, right? Blacks, whites, Asians, everybody loves Thomas Sowell. Everybody. Except for the non-based, totally brainwashed people that are out there. The people that are indoctrinated into cultural Marxist ideologies and don't even realize it. Those people. They're the only ones who don't like Thomas Sowell. Everybody else likes him. Okay? So, we need to repair that history and tribute a man whose work and genius deserves to be tributed, especially during, what used to be Black History Month. It's now just American History Month. Thomas Sowell. Let's repair history together with the correct history. Let's put back in the omitted parts, the things that we forget. Let's frame things correctly. Sorry, I'm bouncing my desk again. I'm starting to realize I do that. I need to back up maybe a little bit. There we go. Let's frame things correctly so we don't create a bunch of racists, right? On either side, on a bunch of people who feel victimized. Let's not continue to enable this toxic cultural Marxist, critical race theory idea that's permeated and omitted the best and most important parts of history that make us all both participants and solutions to these problems. Let's do that. Well, let's hear what Sweet Caroline has to say about this as she frames it correctly.
All Americans, regardless of race, religion, or creed, have made to our great country, and America is back. Christian Dave.
I love it. What did she say there? I think it'll just be American. What about just American History Month? How about we just do it that way? If we ever want to get out of the world of privilege, right? And we can't give privilege to anybody. Nobody can have it, right? You can't have pretend privilege. You can't have real privilege. You can't have government force privilege, right? So in order to do that, we have to stop doing all this favoritism privilege stuff, right? No more gay month, no more black month, no more Spanish month, no more anything month, right? It's either all of us every day, all of our months for everybody, right? Or no months for anybody. How about that? How about we just do it all of us together? How about we just, instead of saying race, whatever, gender, race, gender, lifestyle, how about we just say American? That way we really are a big old melting pot, right? That's what we're supposed to be, right? It's time for the process, and it's time for the practice of division to stop. And that's what's going on with this right here. Beautiful thing. And believe me, there's probably a majority. In fact, I'm pretty damn positive the majority of black folks out there don't want Black History Month. They found it insulting. In the words of Morgan Freeman, screw you, Whitey. No, in the words of Morgan Freeman, if you want to stop racism, stop talking about it. How can you think that my history only deserves 1 month? It's every day. So yeah, all of our histories together every day, but let's make sure we repair that history, get critical race theory out of schools, put the omitted parts of history back, and Thomas Sowell is the man for the job. He's already done all the research for you. All you do is print his works and put it in the school. Pretty easy. Who wants to take on that job as part of solution culture right here today? Who has an interest in doing that? Right there, that's the kind of stuff that people like you and me can do, right? That's the stuff like you and me can do, is to start repairing our history. And I've already given you the guy to follow. It's Thomas Sowell. He's done all the work. Just take what he's done and repair the history with it. Hey, we're almost done here. Let me go ahead and get this done.
Thanks, Caroline. Just real quick, you mentioned the inflation executive order the president signed, but egg prices have skyrocketed since President Trump took office.
Oh my God, the egg prices. Trump's just, he's done it. The egg prices have skyrocketed since Trump took office. He's a fraud. He's working with the establishment. It's a CIA inside job. Resist. Let's go protest about this now, because it's been 8 days and the prices of eggs have gone up. But why?
So what specifically is he doing to lower those costs for Americans?
Really glad you brought this up, because there is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration. As far as the egg shortage, what's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration in the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage. So I will leave you with this point. This is an example of why it's so incredibly important that the Senate moves swiftly to confirm all of President Trump's nominees, including his nominee for the United States Department of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who is already speaking with Kevin Hassett, who's leading the economic team here at the White House, on how we can address the egg shortage in this country. As for costs, I laid out the plethora of ways that President Trump has
do you know what a plethora is? You stupid reporters, go look it up.
Addressed saving costs for the American people over the past week. He looks forward to continuing doing that in the days ahead. Thank you guys.
One more border
Are Medicaid portals down in all 50 states?
No, you guys come back if you want some more, right? Come back if you want some more. No. What a great first outing for Caroline Leavitt. Don't you guys agree? I think she kicked butt. I really do. I sure do. Anyways, yeah. So what were your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Actually, everybody leave a comment about what you thought of Caroline. Put it in the comments on the chat. Let's get some comment. I'll leave you a thumbs up and a heart. I'll do it. Yeah, and don't forget to hit the base button. This is the base button. If you're based, it goes up. If you're unbased, it goes down. But as long as you hit it, you know where you stand. All right. 31 chickens, gonna have a lot of eggs. We need to downsize and fill the freezer soon. Right? What is a plethora? Smash the base button. Smash the base button. All right. If you're based, in reality, hit this button. If you're not, hit the other one. But just hit one of them. I like her too, and yeah, I like her too. She's going to be a pleasure to cover. Quite a pleasure. I'm a traveler on the land, and my land cargo ship. Your laws don't apply to me. Yep, they sure don't, T-Rex. They sure don't. Best of all, I don't pay property tax. Best of all, he doesn't pay property tax. He's going too fast. You can't pin him down. You can't get to him to get the property tax from him. All right, I got more for you guys. Don't you go anywhere, because now we're going to keep the party rolling. We're going to keep the party rolling. Let's start with this. I'm not going to get way into this because this video is surprisingly longer than I thought it was. I only want the first part of it. I'm going to get that press conference a thumbs up. Okay, got that. Okay, I want this up here. And I don't know, that might be good. That shouldn't be in there. You can look into that. Okay. I'm going to hit a few of these and then we will conclude it here. Let's see. So much to cover. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff out there right now. But I did some good ranting to begin with, so I owe you guys some hard news here. But let's start off with some lighthearted good stuff here as I get everything ready. I want, and what is more lighthearted and refreshing than a lagging YouTube? It's like that is my favorite. Okay, here we go. We're not even gonna play a minute. Okay, guys, I think I know what Barron says. Okay. Stop, you lagging YouTube piece of shit. Hold on. All right, there we go. Because all I wanted to do is go full screen and start from the beginning of the video. Therefore, it takes a few minutes to get it right. Okay, that's because we're living in the future here, right? We're living in the future. Oh yeah, we'll be doing tomorrow. We doing Mr. RFK Jr. Don't you want to be healthy? We're gonna be doing him tomorrow. Yes, we are. And unless they change the schedule around, I believe he's going to be talking to the finance committee or something tomorrow. But he's a person of interest. And then that's the guy I know that's going tomorrow. Today's the 29th? The 28th. Yeah, tomorrow's 29th. I only got RFK on for tomorrow, but then we got Cash and Tulsi on the 30th. And then there's another RFK, I believe, on the same day. I don't know if he's doing back-to-backs. But I'll be covering, just so you know, RFK and Cash Patel. And then I'll be doing the Tulsi rewatch later on. So probably what we're doing tonight, I'll be doing Thursday night for Tulsi. And yeah, we'll be making America healthy again. And then Friday, I'll probably be doing the second RFK. I think that's the way it's going to work out. But Cash, we do a lot of stuff with Cash here on the channel. So he gets the priorities. But I will eventually covering them all. But as far as live goes, RFK Jr. and Cash Patel and Tulsi is Tulsi going tomorrow? Are they going at the same time? I didn't see Tulsi on the schedule for tomorrow, but I may have missed it. I can only do one at a time though. I ain't doing some kind of split screen bullshit. It's only one at a time for me. So does anybody know? Yeah, see, with RFK Jr., I won't have to say where's the beef anymore. That's right. You think so? The schedule I've been looking at all week tells me that the 30th is Tulsi. But I'll double check. And when it's showtime, it's go time. We'll be doing it. But let me go ahead and bring this up real quick because you'll enjoy this. Watch this. Everybody loves Barron Trump. And look at this guy. Look at this young man, this fine young man. We finally know what Barron said to Biden as a World Health Organization collapses. Here we go. Okay.
To Biden and to Melania. So when he leans into Biden here, he says, it's on. Okay. And then when he goes up to Melania, she says, try to be nice.
He's a good boy,
says,
isn't he?
okay.
He's a good boy.
But she doesn't really know what he had said to him. And then he turns back and looks back at Biden.
And that's when Biden shit his pants. That's worth watching one more time. I gotta tell you.
Okay, really guys, I think I know what Barron says to Biden and to Melania.
Watch his face.
So when he leans into Biden.
Look at Biden's face. He said, it's on.
Here, he says,
it's on.
Okay. And then when he goes up to Melania, she says, try to be nice. See? And he
Yes,
says,
mother.
okay. But she doesn't really know what he had said to him. And then he turns back and looks back at Biden.
I love that. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. That's awesome. That's a good boy. Barron is a good boy. That was from Sling Blade, in case you have never seen Sling Blade, the awesome movie that is Sling Blade. Yeah. So that's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I gotta fix this real quick. All right. She could have said no sniff. That's right. I mean, his cousins and whatnot are his. Well, I guess it would be his nieces, right? He's Uncle Barron, so that would have been his. I guess that's his niece back there. Yeah, stay away from my nieces, you old pervert. Stay away from my nieces, you pervert. All right. Oh yeah. Do I want to do this one right now? Yeah, we'll start off light. I mean, it's all light. It's all light stuff. All right, so let's get into this. In case you didn't know, this kind of slid under the radar. So let's talk about this. We may have another Smollett on our hands here. And this time it's not going so well. So let's take a look. And I'll probably be in a very low mode here because it's very bright light. And slow.
Well, it happened again. It's an annual occurrence now where an item resembling a noose was found on a black employee's desk, this time in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and inside the city hall. This is a city hall worker. And of course, the local city hall.
Oh my God. Trump's back in office, and now the racism has started again. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness.
The local morons are freaking out. The media is freaking out. The police are involved. Now the FBI is involved. And this story broke a few weeks ago, but I've been just watching it and waiting to see when reality would set in. So I have some interesting.
I'm right here. I'm sitting in. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you for waiting for me to get here. Young man, we will talk about your comment here in a second. I mean, non-answer. It was exactly what we thought it was. T-Rex is like, I wanted the aliens. It's like, okay, sorry, dude.
You know that these things only turn out one of two ways. Either it was a USB cable that somebody just put on somebody's desk that was knotted up and looked like a scary noose and caused the delusional lunatics to completely freak out. And the police are just too woke to just put that person in a mental institution. Or the individual concocted this hoax themselves.
They'll never learn, will they,
At
Memento?
an Allentown City Hall, people rallied for justice today. Residents, clergy, and mental health professionals took to the sidewalks in protest, demanding action and accountability.
Rally for justice. I mean, dude, this is the thing, right? This is the mental illness of all grifts, right? As soon as they get an inkling, they're out there protesting. That's what the left does. Don't ever let this base side don't ever buy into anybody who wants to go run and protest the first time they think they heard something, right? Don't ever buy into that shit. We ought to go protest. Yeah, screw you. You go protest by yourself. You know, that's what the leftists do, man. We don't do that shit around here. Are you kidding me? We're gonna go protest right now, dude. You know, you don't even know what's going on yet. No, it doesn't matter. Like these people, we want justice. We want Marxism. Watch these people. You'll know them. You already see them in your mind before the video is even coming on. You already know what you're about to see. That's how good you are.
Employee reported finding what police say resembled to be a noose on her desk last
They never show it though. Was I wrong?
Speakers presented a list of demands to city officials, including that the incident should be investigated as a federal hate.
Was I wrong? What do we want? A bigger crowd. When do we want it? Sometime?
Crime. Councilwoman Cece Gerlach tells Action News that a member
Allentown, and they're burning all the races down.
of Allentown's Department of Community and Economic Development made the disturbing discovery after the employee requested mediation for complaints
Oh
about
my God. I went back to my cubicle and there is a noose on it. And I knew they wanted to hang me.
workplace discrimination.
I actually spoke with a detective at the Allentown Police Department weeks ago. As soon as this
Well, Mark Dice, actually, he's doing journalism more than most people. Give him a press
story
pass.
broke, I didn't record the call because I live in a two-party consent state, so that would be illegal.
He's smart,
but
too.
He wasn't giving any information, but he knew, based off of my questions, that I knew that he knew what this really was. Now, the Allentown police have got a search warrant to collect a DNA sample of the person who claims to be the victim of the noose. Turns out that person didn't want to willingly hand over their DNA so that they could be ruled out as a suspect, even though everybody else in the City Hall office willingly offered to turn over their DNA to rule them out. On January 15th, an FBI agent interviewed the employee. Throughout the interview, the agent noted several vague statements and deceptive answers that raised concern in the investigation. Shortly after the interview, the city employee called the agent and requested that the FBI discontinue the investigation into who put the noose on her desk. One of the questions I asked the detective was if it's discovered that this individual planted it themselves, if they would be charged with filing false police reports and making false statements to the police. And his answer was that would be up to the district attorney. So if we have a George Soros DA and if this turns out to be a hoax, which obviously it looks like it is, then the DA is not going to actually press charges, and this is just going to quietly go away. Now, if that were the case,
that was the problem of the last 4 years and before, is that exact problem right there. Is that that's how enablement works, right? It's very, you don't really see it unless you dig into it. Like the enablement of these things to continue is the fact that when people get caught perpetrating frauds and perpetrating the optics the establishment wants, right, that they are then quietly let off the hook. Right, quietly let off the hook. Like Smollett should still be in there being bitch boy. He should serve it double the time for what he did. But he's walking free on technicality. So yeah, we have to get rid of these Soros people. And again, like I said, Soros and the Open Society Foundation subversion should be on the terrorist watch list, and they should be considered global terrorists, and they should have their assets seized, and everybody involved with it should be thrown in jail for the rest of their lives. Right? That's the way I feel about it, and that's the way it should be. All right, here we go.
Case then we should make this a national story. We should put pressure on the district attorney to do the right thing, because we can't allow these George Soros funded DAs to keep letting criminals go free. Stay tuned because there's plenty more to come in this video, but real quick, subscribe to my channel if you're new here, because you're not going to find information and analysis like this anywhere else. Of course, the most famous news hoax comes
maybe
from
one
Jesse
place
Smollett,
else,
where even a black man on the
There we go.
jury just couldn't understand why he kept the noose around his neck the whole time and waited for
He still had it on when the cops got there. Like, why do you still have this on? I think you want to see it with the way he placed it on. Hit the base, be based. That's the base thumb. If you're base, the thumb goes up. If you're not, the thumb goes down. But either way, just let me know where you stand, right? Yeah. He left it on. The little sus, dude. Little sus.
To show up before he removed it. Not to mention, it didn't make sense to anybody. Then he would leave his apartment to go get a Subway sandwich in the middle of the night in a polar vortex when it was negative 15 degrees outside. And how many dozen FBI agents and hundreds of man hours were wasted when Bubba Wallace's news hoax broke, which any normal person with half a brain knew exactly what was going on. Before the FBI admitted the obvious of what happened, MSNBC attacked me for, well, saying the obvious on Twitter.
There was, I guess, inevitably, you had people like Dinesh D'Souza and Mark Dice and others who came out immediately and said, you know, that they think that this is all made up, that the new Sweden.
Badge of honor, Mark. Badge of honor, dude. Way to go. Way to go getting in there, man. That's cool stuff.
Get to see the news. We didn't get to see pictures of the news. The picture we saw isn't really, it's, basically questioning the legitimacy of the story, claiming somehow this is a Jesse Smollett thing. That was
obviously exactly what happened, sir.
Exactly what happened.
And my working theory, when I posted about it on Twitter, which is what they're talking about, was that it was an extension cord.
Oh my God, look at all these nooses that's hanging there like being racist. Oh my God. Look at that. They want to line them up. That's what these cords wrapped in a perfect way to store them capacity. That's what this is all about. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. They want to hang all the black people because they hang their cords up. Oh my God.
Just coiled up and hung on the wall somewhere. Now, that wasn't exactly accurate, but my working theory was 100% accurate that it was not a noose, that it was some kind of an item that was insanely interpreted as a noose. And then a couple years ago, there were 7 nooses or items that resembled nooses, including a rope that was used to tie a gate shut that was the entrance to a construction site at the facility for a new Amazon warehouse. And this paranoia made national news.
This evening in the Northeast,
it made national news.
Of a new Amazon facility has now been halted tonight after what was discovered on site in Windsor, Connecticut. Authorities say a 7th noose has now been found.
Oh my God.
ABC's Ariel Reshef tonight.
7 nooses. That's a sign. That's a sign of the racism apocalypse.
That's okay, David Muir. I'll take it from here. The nooses at construction sites is a phenomenon that has been happening for years. Here is the Washington Post from last year. Dozens of nooses have shown up on U.S. construction sites. The culprits rarely face consequences. Black workers, who make up only 6% of the sector, found many of the 55 nooses reported at 40 work sites since 2015. Even somebody who doesn't even own a screwdriver should know exactly what it is that's happening.
Oh my God.
So to help the liberal media morons, I asked Meta's AI, which is sort of like Meta's ChatGPT, to come up with the explanation. I just asked it, what practical use would a noose have on a construction site? And surprisingly, the answer is actually accurate, and there isn't even a word of wokeness. A noose, also known as a running noose or hangman's noose, has several practical uses on construction sites, primarily related to lifting, securing, and maneuvering heavy loads.
Oh my goodness. We're listening to normal speed. Let's go.
Lifting equipment. A noose can be used to lift equipment, such as generators, pumps, or tools in place. Securing loads. A noose can be used to secure loads
like pictures of these things
to a crane or hoist, preventing them from shifting during transport. Rigging. A noose
we get
can
this,
be used
right?
as a rigging tool to lift or fall protection. A noose can be used as a makeshift anchor point for fall protection systems, such as a harness or lanyards. And this hoax at the Amazon facility in Connecticut was 2 years ago, and there have been 0 updates about the police investigation, which would obviously just reveal that they were basic construction ropes and devices that are common on construction sites. So, of course, being your trusted media analyst, I called the lead detective on this case, who I spoke to 2 years ago. As soon as it broke, I left him a message, and he won't return my calls. So now it looks like they didn't even close this case because they were too cowardly to admit the obvious before even investigating it. But after 5 minutes of an investigation, professional police and detectives would.
Hey, real quick, just can I click out of that? Look up here at the top. I'm gonna make the screen larger. Look at the top news. AP, Nvidia stock, win a Super Bowl, DeepSeek by the numbers, and egg prices. NVIDIA stock, that's DeepSeek, and the egg prices. We covered all that tonight.
Know exactly what happened.
Not even
Now
knowing
it's
it.
just one of those unsolved mysteries. They probably put it in with the X-Files. But there is more news on the Making America Great Again front. It looks like Jim Acosta may be quitting.
Can you imagine the X-Files doing a serious episode about the mysterious nooses? I hope to God that Stephen Greer and the aliens are behind it.
CNN. Either that or this is just a tactic to try to get them to allow him to keep his show, because they decided to pull him from his usual morning slots and then put him at midnight. And so all the reports are circulating that he has decided to quit. So now maybe we'll see him starting a YouTube channel like Don Lemon, who surprisingly has
That was Mark, not me.
433,000 subscribers. Because, well, I mean, we do live amongst millions of morons. For you intelligent people out there, if you want to sponsor an OG YouTube.
All right. Thank you so much. These are awesome shirts. Wait, where am I at? But you need dark mode, man. Nice gray background. Make this look so good. Nah, actually, it's probably fine. But thanks again, Mark. And again, congratulations on getting out there and making a difference. All right, let's just do that and this, and quickly move on to the next video. And by the way, let's follow up on something real quick here that we didn't have a chance to follow up on eventually. Talking about one of our good old friends, and of course, YouTube is going to lag. There we go. You could see when it actually moved there. And it's still lagging. It's still really having a hard time getting the screen to come up because it's brilliant. It's a brilliant piece of technology. Okay. All right. This is from just 23 hours ago. Give me 1 second while I try to make sure I could see. All right. All right. There we go. 23 hours ago. So you're not lagging behind. And it's funny because all I did was
said 60 years ago.
All I did was the screen's. I can't control it. Okay, so it probably stopped. So all I did was enlarge it to full screen and decided to start playing. This is the beauty of YouTube right now. And so here we go. We're gonna get it straight here eventually. Now I can add it. Let's follow up. Vivek Ramaswamy sets the record straight on Elon Musk as we're leaving. And I think what we're going to find here is a lot of decrypting of people's ideas about why he is moving along.
Ahead in this country, as Martin Luther King said 60 years ago, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. And that is why I have become, actually, as far as I know, the first Republican presidential candidate in U.S. history to pledge to do what a U.S. president can actually do by ending affirmative action in America once and for all. It is a national cancer on our soul, and it is time to get rid of it once and for all. It started by executive order, actually. Under Lyndon Johnson, it did.
So I would end birthright citizenship for illegal immigrants.
But not for illegal immigrants?
And the children of illegal immigrants. Well, what does it mean for everybody else? I mean, we're all citizens, whether sixth generation or first generation. In my case, if you're born in this country, you have citizenship if you're born under legal circumstances. But I think that if somebody comes to this country illegally and has a child while here, I do think we have to end birthright citizenship.
But does that mean you deport like a 1-year-old?
Shut up.
I think
Ian.
you do the family.
Ian, shut the hell up, dude. Why is that idiot why does he get to talk to Vivek? Vivek, come on my show. I won't ask you stupid questions like that. I won't make you feel like you're wasting your time, all right?
You take the whole family unit.
All right, guys. So we got to react.
He's sitting there like this with his hand on his face. What an idiot. The dude can't play guitar. His right hand is absolute trash. So he looks like what he's playing. I'm over exaggerating and I'm not using my wrist. So bad. So bad. Can't keep time. Chips a hole in the side of his guitar. It's shameful. All right. Let's go.
To this video from Jesse Waters, interviewing Vivek Ramaswamy after Vivek decided to leave Doge. Now, we did a video. We talked about Vivek leaving Doge when it was officially announced that he was in fact leaving. And there's been a whole lot of speculation in regards to why is it that Vivek decided to leave. Okay, some people say it was because of his relationship with Elon Musk, that they weren't working well together. Some people were saying it's because of the H-1B visa debate and the message that Vivek had posted on X about the current culture of America. Some people say that Vivek decided that it would take up too much of his time to co-lead Doge and to run for Ohio governor at the same time. Also, keep in mind, Vivek has an asset management company. He also has his pharmaceutical company as well, too. So, yeah, Vivek is a busy guy, okay? And now he's speaking out, telling his side of the story in regards to what happened between him and Elon Musk. And I found this conversation to be fascinating. So without further ado, let's get into it.
All right,
so we're hearing you're leaving Doge after like 3 Scaramucci's. What happened?
Well, the reality is I'm pursuing elected office very shortly. We'll have an announcement soon. But Jesse, things are off to a great start. I think President Trump has proven, look at the actions that he took in that first week, the most pro-merit president I think we've had in a long time. And as for my vision grounded in constitutional law and the future of the country, I think it's best pursued through elected office. And I'm confident that they're going to succeed in slashing and burning that federal bureaucracy.
People are saying you didn't get along with Musk. What happened there?
I think that's incorrect. But what I would say is we had different and complementary approaches. I focused more on a constitutional law, legislative-based approach. He focused more on a technology approach, which is the future approach. No better person to lead that technology, digital approach than Elon Musk. But when you're talking about a constitutional revival, it's not just done through the federal government. It's done through federalism, where states also lead the way. So I'll have to be saying more on that very shortly, Jesse.
All right, so Elon didn't fire you.
We had a mutual discussion, and I think that I wish him well, and we're on the same page where divide and conquer in saving the country. It's not a one-man show from the top down or the bottom up. It's all of the above, and that's what I'm in for.
Yeah, so in my opinion, that makes sense. Okay, so reportedly, Vivek was supposed to be working on the regulatory side of things. Okay, and Elon Musk was responsible for the overall vision. From what I'm hearing, Elon Musk basically wants to upgrade the federal government when it comes to tech. Okay, he wants to take a technological approach to making the government more efficient. Okay?
Yeah,
including
it will.
maybe using blockchain technology and stuff like
It'll
that.
cut down on those government jobs.
And again,
too.
I'm just not entirely sure
Better
how
get a
two
skill,
people like
y'all.
Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk can work together if you have two alpha dogs in a position like that. And I think that's probably what it came down to more so.
I don't know, man. I think I'm just gonna take him at his word, man. I don't need to go deep diving on this bullshit. I just think that what he said is true. And I mean, think about it. To run for governor, right? That's what he's gonna do. Run for governor. Big responsibility. You need to learn a new job set, new skills. You gotta learn. You gotta meet new people. You gotta hire your campaign staff, your funding staff. You got to find ways. You probably got to figure out in your own business who's going to take over, do this, do that, whatever, right? You got to live a different life than he's been living. He's been on the Trump train and he's going to stay on the Trump train, right? But he's been running around the country, helping us get our president elected, right? Vivek is a champ, dude. He ran for president and he joined the team. And honestly, I think he would have been just as great as a vice president as JD, right? I think it would have been just as great, but he's going to go out there and do great work for Ohio. He's going to build his resume up. He's going to come back in strong and he's going to be president one day. You watch. He's going to be our first American of Indian descent president ever. If that matters to you, right? It doesn't matter to him. He's just Vivek. He's just the dude, he's just the dude. But yeah, Ohio needs it. We'll have Ohio in the bag for a long time. They'll benefit from his great leadership. He'll have a track record to run on. And I believe that he will do great things. And this is just a start. He'll be governor for a while, and maybe he'll go do something else. Maybe he'll be the next vice president, and then the next president. That's ideally, I guess, the way I would like it. I mean, I can't ask JD to be vice president twice, right? And if he can continue on without incident, what we have going on right now, then JD will be fine. I hope Trump is doing the good work and getting him ready for that job if that's going to be the case. If not, he can go do something, and I think Vivek's probably ready to go. I think he'll be able to carry it on. He's got the deal making. He's got the personality. He's got everything on there. Plus, he's financially independent, right? He doesn't have to worry about anybody for campaign financing. I think that's key right now. I've said that many times. That right now it is key that the guy who runs on our side is not beholden to any type of influence, right? That gives our side the confidence to believe in him as well. And a lot of people out there need that confidence, right? We saw how hard it was to get people to believe this time. And one little snag, and everybody's like, no, see, I told you. Ah! They're all running around chicken. The sky's falling. The sky's falling. Running around with their hair on fire. I knew it. I knew it. You know, you didn't know shit. You didn't know it. You still don't know it because you're looking for something to go wrong because that's where you really stand. You don't believe. That's all right. Just keep an open mind. Your faith will be restored if your mind is open. Now, if you stay biased and you just believe that something bad's going to happen no matter what, you'll find a way to make that happen. You will. You will. All right. So I'm going to leave that one there. I think we're all good with that. Yep. I think we're good with that. And Greg has, I don't know what else he says on this because I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but it's a 14 minutes long. If you want to watch it, go over to the Black Conservative Perspective. Craig Foreman is a badass mo, man. He's a badass mo. I like him. And I love his content. He's base as they come. And you will dig it too. So let's get on to our next story. The next time someone says you voted for a 34, I have to slow this down because YouTube's going to lag on me. It's going to lag on me. I don't know what it is. If it's this stupid shit up here loading in or my playlist is too long. I don't know. Never got any complaints about it before. You know, so it's still trying to load. I mean, it's pathetic, YouTube. It's really pathetic. It's pathetic. Let me close that. Does that help? Okay. All right, here we go. I just saw this. I don't know what it says, but I figured it'd be entertaining. There's only 4 minutes. I'm trying to hit pause right now, and it's not stopping. So as soon as I can get to pause, there we go. I'll bring it back in here. Okay, here we go. Now we have good production. Let's go. Let me see what this says. Next time someone says you voted for a 34-time convicted felon, send them this.
Limitations on a misdemeanor in New York?
1 year.
The business records case is a misdemeanor, correct?
The underlying crime, the falsifying business records, yes, that's a misdemeanor charge.
So the only way to get to a felony is by committing it, or is by in concealment of another crime.
Correct.
And each one of those crimes has specific elements.
That's right.
And you have to prove, in order to get a conviction at trial, you have to prove every element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt, right? That's just traditionally how this works.
That is the right way to do it.
So in the indictment, did they put the underlying crime?
No, they did not. They only described it as other crimes.
Okay. And in the jury instructions, did they put the specific underlying crime?
No, the falsifying business records was described in the jury instructions. There was some brief description of the New York State election law violation, but there was no description given of the choice of three crimes. There was a description given of falsifying business records, which was pretty ironic because it was falsifying business records to falsify business records.
So, and that's also a misdemeanor, right?
That should be, yeah.
So you have 2 + 2 = 6. Like if you commit 2 misdemeanors, you get to the felony statute of limitations, which they had to get or they could have never brought the case.
That's correct. But there's some more question marks regarding the statute of limitations. It's not cut and dry because the time that Donald Trump spent out of New York could be used to toll the statute of limitations. That was the ruling in the Court of Appeals Harvey Weinstein case. He argued that the time that he spent out of California should not have tolled it, out of New York, that is, in California, should not have tolled the time limitations, but the Court of Appeals ruled against him on that issue. So that's, I think, how they get around the statute of limitations problem in this case.
So was the election law case a federal election law or state election law?
Makes sense. So if you guys want to check that out, I won't let the whole thing play because that went slower than I thought. That was a quick hit. But no, this is a great little thing here. So you get a little taste of it. Let me do this. All right. And give it a little thumbs up if YouTube will let me. It's being really janky tonight. So don't worry, though. I'm used to it. Copy that and put this out here for you guys. There's the rest of that video. If you want to hang on to it, it's right there for you. There we go. All right. Let us move on. Just like that. All right. So thank you for that. And let's just do this. And okay, so have you guys seen the Margaret stuff? The JD Vance Margaret stuff? I feel like I'm a little behind on that. There's so much in here. Of course, I'm going to save some for next week. Oh, look at it. It's we're at the 3-hour mark. All right. So do I have a quick hit on the way out? I don't think I have a quick hit here. That's good. We're going to cut it there for tonight because it is time for us to go. We've hit the 3-hour mark. And believe me, we're going to have a big day tomorrow. Blue Lantern, what's up? See, the same simp bureaucrats that took medical orders from Bill Gates are now complaining that RFK Jr. isn't a doctor. Yep. I guess so. Let me say, we're going to be heading on out of here. Let me find out where we're going to be sending you guys, because I always do this, get everybody all excited, and then I forget. Let's see. Okay, so we've been doing Rumble to Gary. Let's keep that up because I don't see anybody else out there. Who's this? I don't know who that is. Okay, so who's this? All right, let's go over here. Open this up. Let's continue to send Rumble over to Gary. And hopefully Gary's Rumble will come over to us because we need Rumble love. Rumble love, baby. Rumble love. I want to get to 1,000 like a lot faster than we're moving here. So tomorrow we'll be coming in at early. It'll be early in the morning. You gotta believe that. You gotta believe it. It'll be, well, we're getting going at like what, 10, so 9:30, 10, something like that. We're going to be going at least a half an hour before go time. So just look for my invite, man. I don't know. These days, confusing. 9:30, 9 and 8:30, something like that. We'll be ready to go. This is where you want to be, though. This is exactly where you want to be for these streams that are coming up, because not only you have the base takes, but we got this great community here of awesome folks in the house. And yeah, that's what we do. Let's see. Oh, look at that. 357's got some kind of like something coming up. What time's that stream going off? 357. It's got like a dog in a video. I don't know when that is. Oh man, Gen X Talks. I love that show. You know what? He's pretty base. I'm gonna send you guys over to Gen X Talks. Tell him Winning said hello. He's never met me. I don't know him. He probably doesn't care because he's Gen X Talks. He's rough and rumble, tumble, bumble. He don't care. He's Gen X, man. But that's what he is, man. That's what he is. And that's what I am. And that's what a lot of you are. But you guys have a good time over there because he's a lot of fun. And I never sent anything over tomorrow. I'm sorry, Ronnie. I don't have an exact time for you. We'll get it going on. But I will see you guys bright and early in the morning. And I hope you will be here for a long, long, fun day. I promise you. And then a great fun night. We're going to be together all day long tomorrow. It's like we're taking a road trip. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you guys, each and every one of you, for being part of the solution. You guys rock. And until next time, stay based and keep on.
If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.
This is a friendship that